Hello there, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we discuss all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news and reviews, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Hello there, and welcome to the Night Owl. Oh, I'm just messing with you. Hey there, how's it going?
It's
Genuinely, when I was logging in to get ready to get started, for some reason it asked me for my name, and I typed in Price of Reason, and I almost thought about keeping it and thought that would be really hilarious. But no, yeah. Hey, how are you doing, Bryce?
I'm doing good. And yeah, no, that would have been cool. We would have been able to confuse some people. But any it sounds pretty much along the lines of the stuff that happens on this show, so it really wouldn't have been out of place.
Wouldn't have been
But
too strange. Just would have been just another oddity that we we deal with
it would have been
on a
strange.
weekly basis. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a strange day, I think.
Yeah, so many weird, different things going on in the news. We still got all this tariff stuff going on with Trump, and people continue to freak out about that. There's all the weird stuff going on with the supposed news from China about Hollywood movies. Yeah, we got lots of strange stuff to talk about tonight.
It's basically, I guess like the press has become kind of like YouTubers in their mentality. They're just like clickbaiters, you know what I mean? They just maybe they've always been that way, but
Maybe it's just standing out a little bit more now.
I
I
guess
don't know.
maybe we notice it more now, but
Yeah,
it it's
yeah,
I'll
it's
tell you
wild.
what though, when I report on something, here on Rumble or on YouTube wherever it is, uh I try to at least have some integrity while I'm reporting it. And some of these publications, they're just saying, crazy stuff. Uh, in some cases, I mean, don't get me wrong, doing the tariff thing, I've said it before and I said it to you, it's a risky move. It's one that I understand the intentions behind it. And it's one that, like, when somebody takes that risk, you hope, like, it'll work out well. But obviously, first of all, you can't do this kind of activity without ruffling some feathers and even impacting the market. I mean, it was obvious that something was going to happen. The question is, for how long do you think it's going to be this way?
Yeah, there's a lot of panic going on in the markets, but I think you have to remember, and some people have mentioned this too, that a lot of the people that voted for Donald Trump don't really care what's happening in the market. They don't have any money in the market except maybe some retirement. A lot of them are more worried about keeping their jobs and making sure their small businesses don't fail. And it's there's a lot going on in this economy, and he's not wrong when he says that we're being taken advantage of by a lot of other countries, especially China, right? And we need to bring manufacturing back into the United States. That's also something important. If we can do that, if he's successful in helping to push more companies to come back and do more of their manufacturing here, maybe not all of it. We're not expecting that every product that's made in worldwide is going to be made in the United States, but bring some of it back over here, right? Employ people here in the United States, make your products here to the standards that we have, here in the U.S. And it's going to take time. There's absolutely no question about that. How long the tariffs stay as high as they are, I don't know. That's going to be a real question. There's already indications that a number of countries, Vietnam, the Britain, EU, a lot of them are saying, okay, let's negotiate. Let's start talking, right? So that I think is really the first goal is
Yes.
let's start talking. We're going to come out big, we're going to come out strong. We're going to start talking about tariffs and how you're, making our products, disadvantaging our products in your market. And we're going to start doing the same unless we want to have some discussions and start thinking about, you know, how we can make trade a little bit more fair between our countries. And
Genuinely agree with that idea. I think that the trade should be fair.
yeah,
It's not. That's what I was telling you also last time. I agree with the spirit of what he's doing. I hope that this execution of whatever is going on will be successful. It's sort of like I haven't seen this thing been done before, so it's hard for me to evaluate. I think I told you also that it could be a brilliant plan, and it could be a less brilliant plan, but
yeah.
we'll have to see how it plays out. I did want to show you something, and I think a lot of people are trying to think to themselves how long this will go on. I thought it was interesting. There was a video, and I saw a few other people talking about it, uh, which was interesting. Did you see this video of Scott Bessent, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, talking?
Might have, but let's go ahead and watch it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there's something very interesting that he says there that sort of, may give a bit of an idea of what Trump and his people are thinking in
Hmm.
terms of how long do they plan on playing this game with the tariff wars. And I think I'll play it for you, and I think you'll see what I mean. Give me a second.
Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of different things happening kind of all at the same time. And I think part of that's by design, right? I think Trump has really wanted to push a lot of this stuff and just stack one thing on another so that genuinely it is causing some of the people that, are on the other side to just not know what to do.
He
What
hit
do
the
we
ground
focus on?
running.
What do we what do we complain about, right?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, whatever happens from here, we have yet to see what it'll be. But in terms of like campaigning on something and hitting the ground running, he said he would do a certain amount of things, and he really is doing what he said. Again, hopefully it'll work out in a good way. Genuinely I'm intrigued by his ideas, and I think that like the spirit of trying to get better deals, better trade deals. I think that that's a good idea. Um, I'm also hoping that, and we've talked about this again here before a number of times. He has this kind of aggressive attitude in the way he does business, and I think that in some cases he enters very aggressively with the intention of closing some type of deal, but he doesn't like to enter into any kind of deal unless he's already put some pressure on people before he entered. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yes, he is all about negotiating from a position of power. He's about doing what he can to make sure that he's the top dog. He's the one in the big chair. And when people come, into negotiations with him, he's got something to negotiate with. Again, from a position of power, absolutely. And he's honest. He's written a book about this, right? it's
Right.
it's
This
it's
is kind
not
of his thing.
particularly confusing or mysterious.
No,
It's
it's
just
not.
how
It's
he
not.
tends to do things, for sure.
He is very straightforward in the way he does things. It's kind of very, almost like an old school type of approach to things, but I don't mean that in a bad way. He's just very aggressive in his strategies. I wanted to play this guy, so play this guy talking.
And Japan is a very important military ally. They're a very important economic ally. And the U.S. has a lot of history with them. So I would expect that Japan's going to get priority just because they came forward very quickly. But it's going to be very busy. And if President Trump again gave himself maximum negotiating leverage, and just when he achieved the maximum leverage, he's willing to start talking. Larry, I can tell you that there are
Was this the June thing here? Did I hear it?
already just
Uh, well, tell some jokes, Professor. There was another one that I'm kind of missing.
Well,
Maybe
because
there's
they came
been a number of
forward very
different.
quickly.
Oh,
Negotiating leverage, achieve the maximum leverage.
there was something missing. There was like another portion of that interview that was gone. Let me try to find it.
yeah.
You
So
can
yeah,
share your thoughts about the situation for a second.
There's been a number of thoughts on exactly what's going on. Obviously, there is the surface level, discussion as to just trying to make trade fair between different countries, trying to set us up in a place where we have some kind of leverage in the fight with these different countries and the tariffs that they have on goods coming from the United States, and also trying to bring more manufacturing back to the United States, create more jobs, more middle class, working jobs here. But there's some other things too. If you do some reading, there's different people talking about other sort of knock on effects that might be part of what's going on. If there's other things going on, like if they were to bring, if the market comes down a little bit and they're able to, drive interest rates down, in what's happening there, if they're able to uh, increase the value of the dollar a little bit, there can be deflationary pressures that could kick in. That's going to be really good, for the economy and for a lot of different things. And then if they can do that, there's also the potential. This one's a wild one, but there's the potential that we could potentially refinance some of the government's debt so that the actual, the payments that we have to make to maintain that debt, right? The
Right.
maintenance that we pay on that, from the interest that we pay on that, we could actually lower that, and then that would also help to actually balance a bit of what we have with the massive amount of debt that the federal government has run up. So there's a lot of things in play if you listen to different people. I don't know how many of those are actually
I can
the
tell you
case, but
that
we'll
there
see.
are 50, 60,
Wait, did you hear that?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you hear that when I pressed play now by accident? Did you hear
Yes,
the
I heard it.
sound?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
tell you that there are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June. And Japan is a very important military ally. They're a very important economic ally. And the U.S. has a lot of history with them. So I would expect that Japan's going to get priority just because they came forward very quickly.
Okay,
So basically this is a guy, it's a guy not from our spheres that does happened to mention it in a video.
Mm-hmm.
So what was I gonna say? The this Scott guy, he said April, May, and June. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And the idea is that I think that based on what this guy is talking, they're thinking that whatever is going on, this is, quarter two.
Sure.
Like April, May, June, that's what they've dedicated to whatever game this is. How much the markets will go up and down in the meantime, what'll happen? There's a lot of questions in the air. But I'll tell you another thing that's interesting. Anytime that Trump says like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I won't like tariff China." Suddenly you'll see the market go up like by a significant amount. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the next minute he's like, "Nah, you know what? I want to give him like 104%. Like that's what I want their tariff to be, whatever." And then suddenly, like everything drops. Do you get what I'm saying? It's such sharp ups and downs.
Yeah.
It feels like basically there are people with money, there are these investors, and people are maybe just on the edge. But once there's some kind of understanding as to what Trump is doing, and maybe he reaches some deals, I think there's a chance that it could get better.
Yeah. Yeah. I really do. I think it's going to happen, at least with some of these countries. It's going to happen a lot quicker than some people are thinking. I don't. I don't know that some of these countries like China. I think they're probably going to dig their heels in for a while. But there's going to be plenty of other countries, especially smaller countries, that we might be dealing with, and some of our strongest trading partners, like I think Japan, are going to come to the table pretty quick and say, "All right, hey, let's figure it out." Right? like we were talking about the other day. What does the 25% tariff on American cars or whatever their tariff is? The tariff he wants to put in place here on Japanese cars is 25%, but the tariff that they place on American cars, is that actually going to change anything if they take that tariff off to make him happy? American cars are still not going to sell well in Japan, right? They could very easily just take that away and it's not really going to change much. They don't really need to protect their industry over there from all of our cars suddenly invading their shores, because most people in Japan wouldn't be interested in buying a big noisy American car. So it's, there's going to be plenty of uh plenty of back and forth. Everybody wants to make this sound and look like it's just the end of the world. The stock market's not even in as bad a place as it was for 2.5 years while Biden was in office, right? Uh, we've been way worse off. And this is not, this is not suddenly the end of the world. Are we going to see prices go up for some things? Probably. Yeah, we're going to see prices go up for some things. We also have good news. Seen gas prices lately?
Yeah, I think they've been lower.
They're falling considerably. And that's because we are working on developing more of our own gas, just like we did when Trump was in office before. We were energy independent when Trump was in office during his first time in office, and they shut a whole bunch of that stuff down when Biden came into office. We're developing a whole bunch of our own sources of energy. There's clearly an interest in investment in nuclear, which is also going to help drive down energy prices. And when energy prices are lower, when gas prices are lower, that makes it cheaper to be able to deliver products from one place to another. That means that there's going to be some savings there. There's going to be ways that businesses now, they're going to be able to save on getting their produce or getting their, manufactured products to the actual retailers to sell them. Shipping, can be cheaper. There's a lot of other, ways that just energy itself, if we can get those under control, that's going to help drive down prices. Again, none of these things are going to happen overnight. The skyrocketing, we're not going to see rocketing prices on things just overnight for most products. A lot of it, if there's a tariff on something, someone mentioned in the chat, who pays the tariff. Yeah, it's not China that's going to pay the tariffs. It's going to be companies that import products from China. When they buy those things from China, they pay a tariff on that. That tariff goes to the government. It means that there's going to be an incentive for more of those companies to look for domestic sources of their products or parts or whatever. There's going to be more incentive to develop more of our manufacturing here in the United States. So, I just don't. The panic level on this seems so completely out of proportion to what we're actually seeing. And I think there probably were. There's a bunch of people who are selling off, stuff from the stock market that I think just genuinely understood that a lot of the market was overheated to some extent, and that things were probably going to start falling anyway for various reasons. But yeah, I mean, uncertainty is never good for the markets. People don't want to keep their money in there when they're worried they're going to lose it. I mean, I certainly lost some money from retirement accounts, and I've got some of my own investments in various different places, and I've lost out a little bit, but I'm also certain that it's going to come back. In time, the markets are going to rebound. Everything's going to, corrections are going to be out of the way, and we're going to be doing fine, right? So I think a lot of the panic over this is just so completely overblown, and part of it is just fed by the media who want Trump to be seen as failing, right?
Right.
They're out there ginning up all of this, wild stuff, telling people every day that they're being, thoroughly, ripped off by Trump, and they're threatening their retirement, and they're threatening their Social Security and everything. It's the same story. It's the same playbook we've seen 100 times.
Yeah. Again, and you think that April, May, June, like this guy said now, you think that this is the general direction what they're thinking? Do you think that the quarter 2 theory is legit?
I think they probably do expect that. They put some calculations in place. They're looking at, the different markets that are out there. They're looking at how these different countries are going to be impacted by the tariffs, how much money they're going to be losing, how much money, we're going to be struggling with over here. And I think that, yeah, I think that they're probably looking at it saying we've got a period of maybe 3 to 4 months before a whole bunch of these countries will be coming to the table, renegotiating, and we're going to have a fairer trade, with these countries, and that's going to, impact or erase a lot of these tariffs. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that they might have some kind of a timeline here that they're expecting things to more or less wrap up. So yeah.
And you think that when it comes to the stock market, and again, I feel like this is something that you probably know better than I do, but I would say that it feels it feels like at the beginning they're kind of going up and down after every one of his sentences. It is possible though that after a few weeks they start just getting used to this new reality.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. There's going to be a correction in the market. And then, people are going to stop trying to, pull their money out here and put it somewhere else or whatever. Things are going to settle down. And again, the market in general, people like the certainty. They like things to be calm. So after the wild stuff gets out of the way, we're going to have more people who are going to be getting back in, buying more stuff. I mean, honestly, I've been buying some stock over the last few days because there's a number of these different companies that suddenly is like, hey, that's actually a really good price. That's going to go back up. So I'm putting a little money in. So just again, as you've probably heard from other streamers, we are not giving stock advice here. I am not a financial advisor. Just simply saying what I've done with my own money. The market always has risks. Trust me, I've lost plenty in the past, right? If you make those kind of decisions for yourself, don't take my advice on it. Uh, like I said, the market always has risk. There's always the chance that you're gonna put money in there, and then you're not gonna get it back. It happens, yeah. Yeah, I do think that moving forward, I think the markets are going to calm down, and it's probably going to take a few weeks. No, Elizabeth Quince, no, I am not your financial advisor. Don't say that.
We don't give financial
No,
advice
no,
here at
no. I
all.
do not give financial advice of any kind. But I do genuinely think that that the stock market is going to calm down. It's probably going to take it a couple weeks, but I think things are gonna level out again. And hey, it is what it is. There's really no way you can control the market, and there's no way you can time the market either. So I knew somebody who spent years as a day trader, and uh, he barely came out even. So yeah,
But
you can't figure that stuff out, and then honestly, most people can't unless you're just lucky. You can't make any money doing that kind of stuff anyway, because it's all controlled by people who are throwing around millions and millions of dollars, not people who are investing a few thousand here and there, right?
there have been though, even amongst people that in the past have supported him, there were a few people that suddenly weren't, as excited, or you've seen some people kind of going back and forth, uh, if the tariffs are a good idea or a bad idea. I guess what I'm saying is this kind of discourse. I've seen it not only, if you want to call it the opposition, but also even I think within the Republican Party or just people in general. There have been some different opinions about this. I don't know if you noticed on Twitter, you know, some people were like against it, some people were for it. It was interesting to see how it plays out. Did you catch any of that today?
I've seen a bit of it. Just yeah, even over the past week, people talking about how they feel about the tariffs and using those as a tool. There's there's a number of people who are in both the Republican Party and independents, or even in Democrats, of course, as well, that have been looking at this and saying, oh, the president shouldn't have the power to do that kind of thing. That should be something that has to be legislated, whatever. As if the legislature is able to do absolutely anything these days. They can't even pass a budget, which is literally one of the only constitutional duties they have, and they can't manage that. So it's just continuing resolutions all the way down. So I
I saw like
get
Bill
that they
Ackman.
feel like they want to have some sort of influence here, but if you go back to the 1960s, I believe it was, with JFK, they sort of said, "All right, this power belongs to the president to be able to change and levy these tariffs." So, who are you talking about?
Uh, I'm trying to think. It kind of popped into my mind, and then I was listening to you, and it disappeared.
Did you say Bill Ackman?
Bill Ackman. Yeah, I did say that. good, good work, Professor.
I am a listener. I listen.
Bill Ackman. He suddenly was complaining today, and I don't know. I thought to myself that there were even maybe Elon said something. I'm not sure. Like I feel like I feel like not everybody's on the same page with his tariff plan, but we'll see what happens. But do you know what I mean? That like you have different voices, even people that they're like, listen, I voted for him, I support him, and all that stuff, but don't know about that. I've seen
Yeah.
some of those,
So here's there was a post, looks like about 15 hours ago, from Bill Ackman. He looks like he was clarifying. Some people were retweeting and talking about things that he had to say about the tariffs, and saying, oh, he's turned on Trump and whatnot. So here, I can actually share this.
Okay, yeah.
Um, make sure
Considering that I don't know what's going on, I feel
make
like
sure my
I
yeah.
catch some interesting information throughout the day.
I am by no means the biggest watcher of the market, biggest investor or anything like that. Having been through school and done plenty of classes and work in finance and stuff. I know a little bit about this stuff, but the finance has never been my best subject
You're
either. So
probably better than me. I'm just kind of like, I'm an all-around player. You know what I mean?
that's you.
That's me. But the thing is that I'm an all-around player, but with like a catch. Like I'm probably not great at anything or know anything like the best, but I know a lot of stuff. Like like if there's a category of like general knowledge, I feel like I have a lot of that.
Yeah. So Bill Ackman was making some statements describing the reciprocal tariffs and what to do about it, whatever. So he does say here, this was posted earlier today. Some have misinterpreted my thoughts on the tariffs. I'm totally supportive of the president using tariffs to eliminate tariffs and unfair trade practicing of our trade partners and to induce more investment in manufacturing. I am advocating for a 30, 60, or 90-day pause before tariffs are implemented to enable negotiations to be completed without a major global economic disruption. And that's not a radical take, right? To say, hey, tariffs are coming. It's real. They're happening. Let's start negotiating before these go into effect. I don't think that's an unreasonable
It's
take,
fine. I
right?
listen. I also think something else. I think it's fair. We talk a lot about freedom of speech. If there's, let's say, people, even within a group that you're kind of more on the side of, and they don't always have the same opinion, and they have some dialogue, it's not necessarily a bad thing to have any kind of dialogue. I mean, if you just do everything and everybody agrees with everything and nobody says anything, that's also not healthy. So it's fair enough that people will say things, unless it's just kind of like it comes for this kind of mean-spirited place. Meaning, if your entire goal is you have like TDS and that's the reason you're doing it, that's kind of annoying. And they're a bit, most of the people are like that, the ones that are freaking out. But I'm saying like the ones that are sort of like respectable people and they're like they have their own concerns. I don't think that's the same thing. They're not coming from a mean-spirited place.
Yeah, and I think that's there's a difference between people who are going to be criticizing the moves of any president, Donald Trump, especially since he does seem to get so many just wild, just reflexive sort of oppositional things from people. But I think if you know that somebody is talking to you in good faith, saying, "Hey, what you're doing, that's fine. What if we change this? Right? What if we try doing it this way instead? What if we pause things for a little bit to sort of say, just put a clock on it and say, all right, these are coming. What happens? Let's negotiate first." Then if it's in good faith when you have those sorts of suggestions to changes, hey, let's try this instead. I think that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um,
You know what I think at the end
yeah,
of the day, if Trump manages to improve our situation any, it's already an improvement. Meaning, even if now he's talking tough and he's like, there'll never be a tariff and they'll all pay us all the time and whatever. And at the end, it's just like he takes a deal that wasn't good for us and makes it much better. That already means more money for the US. Meaning anything that could be anything that he could bring that's better than what we have now is good, because what we have now is really bad.
yeah, it's really bad for us. I mean, our products are decidedly difficult to sell overseas in a lot of these places because they have such massive tariffs, and on top of that, there's VAT and there's a bunch of other things that cause the price of these things to rise. So, oh boy, I'm seeing some interesting news here. Give me a second.
Just quickly shout out to White Bear.
Yeah, hey there,
It
White
says,
Bear.
"Be a whole lot cooler if we didn't have 170 countries using tariffs on us." Yeah, I mean, that's really annoying. I haven't seen White Bear in a while. Nice to see you, man. What's the breaking news?
Oh, looks like, according to some breaking news, President Donald Trump's 104% tariff on Chinese goods have officially taken effect, and the other tariffs in other countries are, of course, now in force. So, yeah, oof, yeah, that the whole stuff with China just keeps going back and forth. Uh, yeah, again, do I think that necessarily some of these massive tariffs are necessary? 104% on on China. I don't know. But again, they've been taking real advantage of us for quite some time, and it's not just it's not just that they have tariffs on American goods coming into China. They also are constantly involved in cyber attacks and all kinds of other things like theft of intellectual property
Oh, they're
from
very,
from
very big on the
American from
theft.
American countries. They're stealing plans for all sorts of different technology, including defense technology from our country, and it's been known to have been going on for decades now, right? And so, part of this is, just saying, hey, make China pay for for all the wrongs that they've done to our country over time. Do I think these 104% tariffs on China are going to stick around for a long time? Probably not.
Yeah, no, probably not. I
Yeah.
wouldn't think so, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that all the time the dealings we have with China seem to be better for them.
Oh yes. Well, of course. Yeah. They want to make sure that they want to keep their growth targets that they have for their for their country. Oh, we've got to grow at this percentage rate every single year, no matter what. And there's a lot of different things that they do with their monetary policy, with import bans and tariffs and all sorts of other stuff, the duties that they put on things to help them maintain all of those goals, right? And they want to be able to sell their products freely everywhere else and make it very difficult to bring things in. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride over the next couple of months to see where all of this ends up. Also, I understand that they're going to stop showing Hollywood movies in China, Price.
Yeah, and again, this was something that was being discussed throughout the day. The thing is that China, there was a minute that I think that Hollywood really had it in with the Chinese market, and two things happen. One, every year, I think it's like 12 movies or something that are not Chinese they allow into their country or whatever that is. But in the past, those movies used to be these kind of MCU movies. And in China, there was also, I think, that they were better promoted. There was more of a, friendly feeling around it. And those movies did well there. But in the past few years, most of the movies that Hollywood sends to China, they're not really interested in showing. Very few get accepted. The ones that do don't get that kind of boost. They don't really get you know they don't really get any boost.
And China keeps a huge percentage of what they make in their theaters. It is not the 50-50, 50-60, or 40-60 split that you typically see in American cinemas and, of course, in the cinemas in other foreign countries. They keep a huge percentage. Uh, Potentially, the studios get back 25%, maybe 20%
I believe that.
of what's shown over there. This was an interesting post from earlier today from Alan Eng over at Film Threat, and I really liked how he broke this down. So this is looking at sort of the biggest films in the past year, right? Kung Fu Panda 4 and Sonic the Hedgehog being some of the lowest on this list, but all the way at the top, got in things like Inside Out, Deadpool and Wolverine, and showing the global box office for these billion-dollar movies, how much of that actually came from China, right?
Right.
After the US and Hollywood has been really working hard to
Kissing ass.
oh,
Kissing
just
ass.
oh, absolutely.
A
Like
lot of
they have to
they love commie stuff. They're always like all about communism. Like every single thing with them has to have a bunch of a bunch of
Ant-Man
communists, you know?
and the Quantumania, Ant-Man. Well, communism might be, some people use it as a bad word, but
I couldn't
it's like,
believe
oh,
what I was
shut
watching. I
up.
couldn't believe when in the theater when he's like, "Well, some people say that communism is a bad word," or something like.
Just,
Once he said that, like I felt, and I felt bad for Michael Douglas. Years of being like a serious actor to give him that nonsense to say, it's so cringe and embarrassing. And in general, just in that movie, what they kind of wanted to demasculate him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
They're like,
emasculate. Yeah.
basically, he arrives for years. He was waiting like patiently for the return of his wife and all that stuff. We're given the impression that that's the love of his life. We've seen that in the previous movies. He finds her, and immediately it turns out that she was like having an affair with Bill Murray. It just kind of felt like, is that really necessary for that movie? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it felt out of place, and the only reason it's put in there is because they don't want there to be a male that's sort of on top of his game. So they have to throw something at him. I don't know if you saw. Did you watch Daredevil today?
I was able to sneak. I had a very busy evening, but I was able to sneak in Daredevil. Not long before we hopped on here together tonight, Price. So yeah, I did finish tonight's episode of Daredevil.
So let me tell you something. I'm still sticking to my theory that considering all the crap that Disney Plus has put out, this is probably the thing that's the most watchable, but it is a disappointment if you compare it to the original Netflix shows. It's just kind of it's uneven. Sometimes I get really annoyed. Sometimes I see something that maybe I actually do like, but it's a strange mix of emotions to watch this show. And today, if you saw the episodes, there were two things that already started annoying me. First of all, this really annoyed me. Professor,
Yep.
the part that he says, well, Daredevil saved you. And then do you remember what she answered?
I saved myself.
Yes, I saved me.
I saved me.
Or something
Yeah.
like that. I saved myself. Whatever that was, I'm just like, man, this is so annoying. Because it was already annoying last time that he's like battling him and she just shoots him, and it was kind of annoying to begin with. But you're like, fine, whatever. But now it's like all about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They actually also turned her into like an annoying girl boss somehow. You know what I mean? Now she's not pleasant. She's like, kind of girl bossing him around. Did you get what I'm saying?
Oh no. Yeah. She was. It was irritating. Where yeah, she was just, oh no, don't you see they're the same? They're both violent and wearing masks, and they're exactly the same. It's like, are you stupid, or are you willfully ignorant?
So
Because
annoying. So
how do you think that those two are exactly the same? One that will clearly put his life in danger to save you, and someone else who is a complete and total head case, who was trying to drain out your blood to use for paint.
so ungrateful. It's so ungrateful. It reminds me of the same thing even in that stupid Snow White movie. I know the movie was awful, but there was one part that even within the annoying part of the movie, so the Snow White, she basically somebody shoots an arrow in her direction, and the fake prince, the one that's not the prince anymore, he's like a thief. He jumps in front of this arrow and catches. Did you see the movie, Professor?
Which one?
Snow White?
No, I have not seen Snow
Okay,
White.
okay. So basically, this guy jumps up in the air and he catches the arrow and saves her. So the next scene, she's like standing around and somebody says to her, "Oh, I think you really like that guy." Like the guy that just, took an arrow for her.
Sure.
And then she's like, "No, I don't think I could be like with somebody like him. He only thinks about himself." And it's like he just jumped in front of an arrow so that the arrow wouldn't hit you. Why would you say that? Like, why would you say that he only thinks of himself? It's the same thing that reminded me that of today is like, well, Daredevil came to save you. No, I saved myself. So annoying. It's like there's some kind of like standard operating procedure at Disney, and the fact that even now, when everybody's like, kind of putting them in their place and really exposing them for all of their bullshit, they still won't let it go. Like even now, they won't let that shit go. Sorry, Sean.
No, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. They can't they
And
can't
then
not put that stuff in there, right? Even when they're saying, "Oh, we're done with all of those things, and we're
no,
gonna
they're not
start
done.
making entertainment for the fans," and blah 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 blah,
They're
whatever.
not done. They're just getting
No,
started.
no, and there's still so much of this left over, right? It's like there's still so much of this that was just in the pipeline. That's just this sludge is gonna keep being pumped
It's
out.
never gonna end. Never gonna end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, since we're talking about it, I mean, what did you overall think of the episode this evening?
Well, again, another issue I had, and I just want to point it out, that like I really liked Vanessa Fisk and the lady that plays her. I thought it was a great character. I liked the dynamic between her and Vincent D'Onofrio, actors, characters. I liked everything in the first series. In this series, from day one, all they're trying to do is like the marriage counseling. She's more of a girl boss than him. She had an affair. She again, it's the same playbook. It's the same thing with the Michelle Pfeiffer and Ant-Man. It's the same thing, and like every time there's a woman, there has to be like a betrayal. The man is like has to. He's the one that's miserable because he got betrayed. It's like Okay, if it was in one movie or one show, I'd say, well, that was an artistic choice. Once it's in every single property, it starts to annoy me. Even it's like, you killed this person, you killed that. Oh, and Fisk, similarly to Daredevil, who didn't kill Muse himself, but the girlfriend killed him. The same thing happened with Fisk and Adam.
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
you have to make it. It's you have to do it. Like, only women are allowed to hold guns and shoot people in this show. If you're a man, you have to apologize and look like a bum. And with all of that being said, I mean, there's certain parts of it that, like, I like the characters and maybe a specific scene or a specific line that they say or the way they deliver it. I kind of enjoy certain moments, but those underlying themes really annoy me. I don't know if you noticed them.
Yeah, it's all still in there. You still feel it, right? And like all the women are in charge and they're powerful and they're the ones that they get to make all the decisions, and the men are just toxic, angry monsters.
Toxic assholes, that's
Yeah,
all the men
toxic
are
assholes.
in every scene, and it's
Yeah.
like, I listen.
What's wrong with you? You're not yourself. And it's like, oh, shut up.
Right, right, that annoying. She's lucky she's not dating me, that, psychiatrist lady. Like, if I came and she's like, "Well, no, he didn't really save me, I saved myself," I think at that moment, I'd be like, I wouldn't tell her that I was Daredevil, I'd just say, "Listen, it was really nice knowing you, I'll see you around," and I'd walk out, and that's it. There's really nothing about her. She looks okay, but I mean, at the same time, like, her vibe is kind of annoying. I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe the actress is super nice. I don't know her, you know what I mean? But the vibe like this character gives on the show, it's not a vibe that you kind of really, want to embrace.
No,
It's
no,
like the
not at
type
all.
of vibe that you know that you've gotten yourself into trouble with this relationship. Too
Yeah.
much headache.
Wait, Sean Lenane on Rumble asks, "Why are we even watching these shows?"
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure why we're watching them, to
to
be
to
honest.
to talk about it on the Night Owl. That's
That's what we
that's about
do.
it. That's
No,
about
and
it.
you know what? I actually have a different answer, and I'll tell you what my answer is. Basically, I did really, really like the original show on Netflix. I thought that that was one of the
Mhm.
best shows. Really like the characters, really like the actors playing them. There's so much good about that show that it's hard for me not to watch this one. And at the same time, there are moments that I enjoy them, that I enjoy like a dialogue between them or a certain moment. A lot of that is because of Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox and their roles. That's like the majority of the points go to them. If do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
plot isn't really working in anybody's favor in a lot of places, and everything is a mess and convoluted. This season feels all over the place, maybe because of all the reshoots. But even with all of the nonsense that went on around, I still think that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio deliver compelling performances. I guess that's my biggest conflict here.
Yeah, yeah, I think we are seeing some good performances, especially from the two leads here, but
It's just so
the
fun seeing them.
story. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And Charlie Cox just looks like he's having so much fun. Uh,
I think with D'Onofrio as well. I feel like
and
D'Onofrio
yes,
loves
yeah,
playing this.
yeah, I think he
Loves
does
playing
too.
this.
Uh, I did really I enjoyed the uh, Charlie Cox getting to smash the guy's head on the desk.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I didn't mind that.
Hey, hey, guards! He's
And and
he's he started smashing his head on the desk.
and usually I like when Wilson Fisk, when he's kind of like intimidating somebody and he's just kind of being a jerk. I like that kind of stuff. And there's moments of that.
Mhm.
Like, also there's something a bit amusing in a sort of dark humor type of way that he's in the mayor's office and you have all these like kind of political people around him. It's not a bad idea. You know what I mean? Like it's there's certain grounds there's certainly grounds for this kind of dark humor because we know like who he is. So him being in this situation is like surreal a bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there are moments with him as mayor that I enjoy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's like I said, I think I like the performances from both of them. Similar to what you were saying, but yeah, the story is just a mess. It's all over the place.
All
It's
over the place.
all kinds of filler, and then there's just strange turns that they decide to take with the characters. Again, I still don't think I hate this show. I really don't. It's
I don't
certainly some
I
of the
don't
best
hate
that
it.
I've seen from Marvel since Disney took it over. As far as the television shows are concerned, maybe the best TV show they've made, but it's still not good. It's just okay. And I just I want it to be better. Who knows what's going to happen? This latest episode for the most part I thought worked well. It had lots more going on in it than we have seen in some of the previous episodes. But at the same time, there was also a lot of dull, slow, like,
Right.
just yammering about stuff. It's like,
Too
just
much talking, you know? I don't know how to explain it because it's not like there wasn't dialogues in the first 3 seasons of, Daredevil, but man, the pacing and the writing and the production and everything was just so great. It's so great, and that's
absolutely.
why it's such a tough pill to swallow that this one isn't as great, even though I don't suffer necessarily watching it, but the potential versus what we got, it is disappointing at times. Not a
Absolutely.
disaster, but
No.
like a mild disappointment, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's just, it's not everything we had hoped for, and sometimes you just, sometimes you're not gonna get that. Uh, Again, not the worst thing I've seen. Tonight's episode was maybe a little bit better. Clearly, people on IMDb seem to like it for some reason. Again, I think a lot of people have gotten to the point where they're just so used to total garbage that something that's mediocre is now uh, something to be celebrated. you know and I do not want to be that person. I don't want to be in that place where I'm like, yay, give me the mediocre slop, instead of saying, you know what, I think this could still be done better. Let's shoot higher, let's shoot for something better. There were a bunch of people who loved Loki, and I kept watching it just going, I don't get why you love this.
I think
I
that
don't
Loki
get it.
I think that Loki I'm trying to think if I ever finished season 2. I got close, but I think at some point I couldn't watch it anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was so boring. I just thought it was so dumb. The first season just annoyed me with all the girl bossing, but in the second season, it bored me so much that I didn't even have time to think about the girl bossing. Like, being boring is one step worse than the girl
Oh yeah.
bossing.
No.
Well,
The
like
worst thing you could be is dull,
right,
right? Like, it just, if you're bored, it had its moments that I enjoyed, but they were few and far between. And for the most part, I thought it was just a really sloppy tale they were trying to tell. And it did not work for me at all with this Loki. It was not the Loki that we saw in the movies, that went through lots of different experiences and came to a point where he was willing to sacrifice himself, at the hands of Thanos to try and protect his brother, whatever. Like, it was not, he's not that person, right? He he sort of we're supposed to believe he sort of speed ran his way by watching a couple of videos, that he speed ran his way through growing up and becoming a more more complete person, right? And then decides to sacrifice his life to be in charge of the multiverse or whatever, to save the multiverse. It just
ugh.
did not work for me at all.
So annoying. It was
Yeah,
such a dumb show.
yeah,
I am sorry because I know there's some people that enjoyed it, but I just couldn't. It's not good enough for me. But
yeah,
if you enjoyed it, it's cool. I liked seeing Short Round a bit, but that wasn't enough for me to like that.
no. Yeah, well, we got one more week. We got one more episode of Daredevil coming
I think we
to
got a
watch.
super chat.
Did we get a super chat? I might have missed it. Oh, a bunch of windows open. Ah, yes, we
Mr.
did get we got
Phobos.
a super chat.
Here, let me share this. Did it share it?
Yes.
Okay. It did?
Yeah, we can see it.
But
You scrolled up past it though. There you go.
oh, okay. Now we're talking. It's the
Yeah.
Phobos. She's a see you next Tuesday. I guess he was referring to the girlfriend of Daredevil.
Yes. Yeah. She's not pleasant.
No, she's not
I
pleasant. She's not the
no.
kind. I'm willing to break up with her right now. And Matt
Yeah.
Murdock, all the ladies like him. She's not the only
Yeah.
fish in the pond.
Oh, but he's so in love with her because
He doesn't seem
don't
that way.
I
He
don't know
doesn't.
why. I really
He, do-
don't.
he seemed when Rosario Dawson was on. I thought that like it looked like he liked her more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she was.
That really worked for me, that relationship in that first
Really
season.
liked it. I thought it was cool. There was so much good stuff happening on that show,
Yep.
especially that first season. Just so
Yep.
great.
Like I said, I'm working my way back through those Netflix seasons, and watching the first season again. It's just so good, so good. Just great storytelling. Then they bring Stick back into the story, and they kind of start expanding some of the lore around Daredevil, and how he became who he was, and like yeah, it's all so good, just so good.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah, but
Uh,
no, this the new show not so great.
no, not so great. So just before I forget, because we mentioned the Hollywood versus China. At
Yeah,
the end of the
we can
day,
jump back over to that. And I
no,
started talking about that tweet from from
no.
Alan.
This is what we do here on the Night Owl. We kind of go into different topics, so then we come back to the main, whatever it is that we were trying to do, here and there. You know what I mean? It's a good guideline to keep us kind of any kind of structure, any kind of structure for this
Yeah,
show.
you know.
So China versus Hollywood. At the end of the day, and you have this graph here. It doesn't look like this is a major deal one way or another. It seems like at this point, China isn't like a major source of income when it comes to ticket sales, anyways. When you're thinking of releasing a movie globally, you should be thinking about a bunch of other things. But I think that you should be thinking less about this and less about how to cater and how to kiss ass and all that stuff, because it's not the ass kissing is never successful, and now it's not even necessary anymore.
Yeah. No,
Like
it's not at all. If you're looking at those numbers I was talking about those numbers that Alan put together, Alan from Film Threat, kind of showing off exactly what the numbers were from China. And yeah, they've been pandering to the Chinese market forever. They their stuff, and it's not even just Hollywood either. Like the NBA, the NBA panders to China. Everybody they think they've got this massive market over there just waiting to take up all of these movies and waiting to take up watching all these shows. And it's really not that amazing. It's yes, there's a ton of people there, but they're not really all that interested in watching this stuff. And plus, a lot of the stuff that does go over there gets edited, or it gets all sorts of other stuff stuck
maybe
into
I
it.
think it gets dubbed in a way that's different.
Entirely possible, right?
Oh wait,
They'll remove characters sometimes, just like they'll
wait.
remove them from the posters.
Absolutely, but you know what I just remembered? Do you know? I could be wrong, but I feel like when they show Fight Club, the movie Fight Club in China, do you know that the ending is different?
Really?
If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, like after the buildings fall at the end and he's standing around there, there's an additional kind of I don't know if there's a few shots showing police officers or there's just like a title on the screen, and it says something along the lines of something like Tyler Durden gave himself up and the police, like, were able to capture him or something like that.
Interesting.
I know this sounds absurd, but there is something like that. They changed the ending because it was too much anarchy, and they didn't want it to
Mm.
seem like they're encouraging that. But that I just think that's funny that there's, like, a committee in China, and they're like, "Screw it, let's just change the ending."
Okay. So, a little AI summary here. The 1999 film Fight Club underwent significant censorship for its release in Chinese streaming platforms. Initially, the original ending where the narrator kills his alter ego, Tyler Durden, and buildings explode as part of Project Mayhem. Oh, spoiler warning for a 25-year-old movie, by the way. Uh, this was replaced with a text screen stating authorities had foiled their plot, arrested the criminals, and institutionalized Durden. This revised ending emphasized police intervention and a successful resolution, omitting the film's subversive climax.
So weird, so weird. By the way, Sean Linane sent us a Trump nod.
Yes, $5.
That's a $5
Yeah,
Rumble rant. Thank you so much, Sean.
yeah. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Uh, a big price of reason nod back to you, good sir.
And when we say sorry, Sean, we're not talking. We're not talking to
Not talking about you, no.
you.
But
Somebody else.
I feel like at some point you were able to find that video. Let me see if I can find it. We were talking about Fight Club,
Yeah. If you
China.
find that the Chinese ending there, you can look for that. So, but I was we were talking about China and how much impact they actually have today. I think at one point they really did. There was a lot of stuff that was changed in Hollywood. There still today is a lot of stuff that got changed in Hollywood to try and really cater to that market, because that was the idea. Was, well, we've completely conquered the market here, let's go and try and take over the Chinese market with our movies. So we're going to have to change everything and modify everything to appeal to the Chinese party, Communist Party, and we're going to have to change things here and there so that we can make sure to get past censorship, or we can adjust things at censorship, so that it fits with their market. And even as famously cutting characters of certain skin colors out of posters and promotional materials so that didn't offend some people in that market. But if you look at if you look at the numbers that Alan was showing in his Twitter post, basically looking at this past year, the big movies that were coming out, even some of the really the movies that had really strong presence in China, did really well in China, were never more than 8% of the total box office take for that film worldwide. So it makes no sense that you're going to spend all of this time and effort catering these movies to China to just get this extra 3-4%.
Yeah,
cater
and
your
why should we
movie
suffer? And why should
Cater
we
your
suffer?
movies to the tastes of Americans, and you
Right.
can get 4% more people showing up to watch that movie.
And they'll be worth more, these 4%, because you're actually gonna
Exactly.
get paid. It's not gonna be like going into somebody else's pocket. You're actually gonna make money. It reminds me of that Bud Light situation that they're like, "We don't really like all these frat people and these dumb people drinking our beer. We really need a new audience." It's like, you have people here that are your existing clientele that spend the most money here. First of all, take care of them so that they don't leave. And it's certainly not worth it for this amount in China. So this is the end. What you just said, people that were watching the Fight Club movie after the buildings fall at the end, this is the exact title. This is like a screenshot of the title that comes up on screen. And I think it's what you were reading, but
Yeah,
this is just, and these are the people that Hollywood is like kissing ass to in hopes that they'll agree to show something.
yeah. We're talking about minuscule percentage of the market. Wicked, big movie last year. Really popular. I don't know why, but really
It
popular
wasn't a
film.
very good movie. I didn't like it,
And
but yes, people liked it.
and it only brought in to the studios a few $100,000 from China, right?
I
Uh,
totally believe it.
Biggest movie of the year last year, Inside Out 2, made over $1 billion. Studio brought in 11 million from China. That's
This is
it's nothing.
ridiculous. This is not a reason why you do all this stuff. There's no justification. If they were making like billions here, I would say, yeah, it's worth it. To an
Yeah.
extent. I mean, it's also kind of annoying, but let's say I could at least understand the financial incentive for this amount of money, so many hoops in the air. Maybe it's not that worth it. Recently there was some Chinese movie, Zheng. I don't know what it was called.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. It's
Yazan.
based on some Chinese, Chinese mythology,
They love
movie,
it
kind
over
of a
there.
kids movie. Yeah, oh
They
yeah,
love it
it's one of the biggest movies in history. It's made
in the history of
billions.
China. That's what they all like. The second they have a free moment, they want to go watch Ya Zheng. I'm probably saying it incorrectly, but you know what I'm trying to say. They all want to see Ya Zheng, and it's made billions, and they don't care about all the stuff that Americans are doing. It looks lame and stupid to them. And honestly, it's not like the US has been, the Hollywood has been generating just such great films. Even these guys who may have a weird mentality or like a different culture than us, I think that these movies that Hollywood is making, nobody cares about. It's not Ya Zheng, it's Neza.
Neja 2,
Neja.
2, yeah.
I was
So
so close.
you were
Ya
yeah, you're
Zheng.
fine. I mean, was
Ya Zheng. Come
what
on.
what are they gonna do? The Chinese gonna take us off the air in China? Come
It
on.
was Ya Zheng. Uh,
Yeah, but
and
yeah, I
that
mean, this movie it broke 2 billion, did incredibly well over there, and it's done fairly well in other markets around the world as well. It's clearly a very interesting Chinese kids film, and that's great. More power to them to compete, but stop trying to change what we're creating for the U.S. market to cater to China when you're talking about this minuscule take that you're bringing home from the Chinese markets. It's ridiculous.
Sean Lenane says supporting. Thanks for the listen, following, love, and that's it's a super chat. Just so you know, it's another $5. Sorry,
Yes,
Rumble
$5
rant.
Rumble rant.
Rumble
Yes, thank you
rant.
very
Yes,
much,
I
Sean.
apologize. Not a super chat, a Rumble rant.
Yes.
That is 100% true. Thank you for correcting me.
And definitely, if others out there watching on Rumble, if you would follow, support us over on Rumble by subscribing to the channel, we would really appreciate it. And if you're not, if you don't have an account with Rumble, you're watching, without an account, just watching on the app. It doesn't take long to make an account, and you get all the benefits of being able to follow, subscribe to some of your favorite creators. Maybe we're one of those. We would appreciate a subscribe from you and a like for our show, for the channel. And same over on YouTube. If you're enjoying the show, we'd appreciate a follow and a like for the stream.
Absolutely. And as always, especially if you're on Rumble, I know a lot of people on Rumble, they use the app and they just kind of watch some things that they're specifically interested in. Rumble, if you haven't already also, done like opened an account, it's free. You should definitely open your own account. And then you could also follow us and you'll get notifications when we do streams. But even regardless, it's just a good platform to support because of the way it supports free speech. And I've had over the years a lot of situations. Some were even active until this day, where I was on some kind of platform reporting on some news that was happening, and these platforms were unhappy that I was reporting something that was really happening. And on Rumble, I think we can have very kind of in-depth conversations, even stuff we don't agree on, even just joking sometimes, maybe. Some dark humor or something like that. And I think we could do a lot of that and not feel like somebody's bothering us or trying to shut us up.
Absolutely, yeah. Free speech is great. It's wonderful, and we appreciate Rumble, being such a supporter of free speech, allowing lots of different creators to use their platform
Absolutely.
to create lots of fantastic things. So it
Absolutely.
looks like we've got some super chats
Oh,
that we've missed out on here. So yeah, let's see
let me try
here.
to find them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, there was a bunch of stuff going on. We have to I know what to do. If you give me a give me a second and I'll know what to do. No, I know
Know what to
exactly
do.
what to do, I think.
Okay.
Okay, hold on one second.
Well, here I can share my tab. We can pull these up here.
Right, but
You can go and give them a like on your end.
I can make it work. It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be cool.
By the way, I wanna tell you that I really
Cool
like the
guy.
thumbnail for today. Oh,
Yeah.
you did it. This is better than I could have done. Yeah, it's good. So, the dead man, do you believe in global mo do you believe in global warming? Be a whole lot cooler if you did. You know what I think? I think that, global warming, there's a lot of, kind of how do I explain it? I feel like a lot of scientists have taken a ride on this idea of global warming so that it could fund a lot of research and fill up a lot of people's pockets as they kind of search for solutions for global warming. I'm not saying that it's not possible that something like that, to an extent, may or may not be happening, but I also think that at the end of the day, uh, most of the time, the measures we pretend to take to help, like, save the earth and all that stuff, most of that stuff is kind of irrelevant. For years, this is my opinion, of course. If you love doing all that recycling, it's great. But for years, I felt like we do all this kind of recycling, and I never know to this day when they recycle the stuff, don't they themselves do something that's like bad for the environment? Do you get what I'm saying? Like
Oh.
I feel, I
Oh yeah.
feel, I feel like
Most
it's
most recycled. Oh, all sorts of subjects to get me started here. Talk about global warming, talk about recycling. Yeah. Oh, most recycling. Just if you didn't know, most recycling is in fact
a
bundling up your
sham.
stuff and shipping it over to India and dumping it in a dump.
It is so.
Almost nothing. If it's not tin, aluminum, or number one plastic, it does not get recycled. It gets number two plastics as well. The rest of it just goes into a landfill.
I agree with you. I feel like I don't believe them at all. And just like the recycling thing, I feel like is a sham. That's why I know it's all kind of a sham. Uh, Also, throughout the history of man, it was hot, it was cold, it did this, it did that. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
at some point, I don't know how much control we have, and I think some of these scientists are way over the top. There have been so many cases like what we saw with the fires in LA. They're like, "Oh, we have to save like this one bird that may not, we can't do anything. We can't have water because of the bird." And then at the end, like the whole place was ruined with all their fires because they're so busy, talking about their environment and the environment and their feelings, that at the end there was no water in their hydrants.
Yep. Yep. If it's not a very limited number of things that are quite easy to recycle, papers, cardboard, one and two plastics, and then tin and aluminum. It's just being, someone says, I've seen my local waste management, Tater Squad says, I've seen my local waste management dumping both my trash and recycling into the same truck. Yeah. And it doesn't always happen there. It usually happens at other levels. But yeah, a whole bunch of what people think they're recycling is just ending up in landfills in a different country. Right. And it's being shipped over there. We're paying them to take it. It's wild. It's kind of ridiculous. Global warming. Oh, good God, where do I start? Uh, with uh, global warming, first of all, has been happening since the end of the last ice age. Yes, there is evidence that mankind is contributing to global warming to some level, but it is not the same as a lot of these quote unquote scientists, climate scientists, are trying to sell you. They want you to believe that all of these insanely complex systems that we have are being influenced by just one or two particular variables, and that they have this sort of multiplicative effect. So if this little thing happens, well, that it affects it this much. But if it happens twice as much, well, that's actually 8 times as bad for us, and so on and so forth, right? So it's just this thing where it just keeps doubling forever, and it doesn't make any sense. There's been a lot of people who've poked holes in some of those ideas and the different climate models that are out there. There's As you mentioned, there is massive financial incentive for the scientists or the people who are out there doing climate science. There is a massive financial incentive for them to bring in papers, to publish things that claim that all of this is real and that we have to do all of these things to stop global warming and stop rising, sea levels and all that stuff. There's a huge financial incentive, quite literally. Someone working in the climate science field, if they were to publish a paper that was counter to the overriding narrative, could very well see their careers end because they would no longer get
Right.
funding. They would
It,
no longer be able to get the grants and things for what they're trying to do. Because if they try to say something that's outside of the norms, then there's a few things happen. One, they're not going to be able to get the grants, but they're also not going to be able to publish, because when it goes to the journals to be published, then all of the other people who are part of this,
right. They get
frankly,
canceled.
scam,
They
yeah,
get canceled effectively. Yeah.
they do not allow their papers to be published. They just censor them into oblivion so that they can't be published. So it's a racket, and this is coming from somebody who knows a bit about how things tend to work in academia. I've seen this. I've heard this. Quite literally, we're talking about every single grant that certain departments will write, the requesting money from the federal government, even that has nothing to do with global warming or climate change or whatever, will write those things into their grant proposals, or at least they did before Trump took over. But they would write all of this stuff in their grant proposals because they knew that spreading panic, spreading stuff about climate change and all of that stuff was something that was going to help them get funded. Right. So yes, there was huge financial incentive behind all of the different reports and papers and stuff from climate science that is
I have a
claimed
question.
that it's real.
I have a
So
question for you.
yeah,
Because it reminds me of when we were kids. Whatever happened to the ozone layer? Remember the ozone layer? Didn't
yeah,
they say that the ozone layer there was a hole and now it was the end? Wasn't that? Do you remember that they
yeah.
used
There
to
was
say it?
there was an ever developing hole,
It
and
was there
then
was a hole.
the hole closed up, more or
How did the
less.
hole close up? Remind me
Well,
how the
there's
hole.
there's a number of different theories as to why it did eventually close back up. First of all, do you know where the hole was?
I struggle now. Where was it?
Antarctica,
Right, right. Now it's coming back.
over the South Pole.
Okay.
It was believed that it was caused by a variety of different chemicals that were used for propellants and things like hairspray, or were also used as like coolants for air conditioners and so on. And so they outlawed a whole bunch of these chemicals, and they said, "Oh, we got rid of all of these different chemicals, and now the ozone layer is going to be able to heal." And of course, they got rid of all
I
those
don't believe
chemicals, and then
I
the
don't believe a
ozone
word of
layer
it.
healed.
Do you believe any of it? I don't believe a word of it, but go on.
Not really, no. I really don't.
I'm gonna
Why
say
did
something.
why did all of those chemicals suddenly move to the South Pole? Why is that the only place where the CFCs and so on, that were involved in this, that made their impact? That
It was a
was just at
sham.
the South. It seemed very, very strange. And yeah, you're not the only one who's talked about being very skeptical about
Such a sham. They made
what
it
this actually
how
happened,
many
why
times
it
did they used
happened.
to talk about it? Like, every second. How many times did I hear about the ozone layer, like it's some important thing? Couldn't stop talking about it. I don't know, I just feel like it's so hard for me to take the media seriously these days. Uh,
Yeah,
there's so many things that if you look at throughout history that I think that they really, you know, they didn't represent things correctly sometimes and kind of annoying at other times. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not as believing as I used to be.
yeah. Well, it's sometimes it's good to question these things, Price. Uh,
Anyhow, the dead man got like a real answer out of us. Like
yeah, there you go. What,
we
but
really
it was a
went.
joke, so we appreciate your joke, then.
We appreciate your
Uh,
joke, but we took
we
it seriously.
Yeah, we did see Phobos. We saw his earlier talking about
She's a see you next
being a see you
Tuesday.
next
That's
Tuesday.
Daredevil's girlfriend.
Yeah, so we
Uh,
got Dexter's Lure Lab for $10. Gave us a super sticker of a pair.
Hey,
Giving
it's
us a
not a
thank
poop.
you. It's
This
not a
pear looks
poop.
like a really,
Not a
really
poop.
likable pear. He looks like a swell pear.
All right, and I'll leave the next one to you, Price.
The dead man says, "This is for your beefaroni fund." And you missed my earlier super chat. I think that now we kind of
We
went
got
back
it.
to it. We
We went
got it.
back and got it. Yeah.
I know you're not gonna believe me, but initially when I actually scrolled, I didn't see it earlier. So I don't really know how that all happened. But we got you now, the dead man. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
another one from Joshua Calkins.
Yeah, let's see if we can get that up there so we can see it. Yep.
So Joshua Calkins for $4.99. F Club had the line, "I want to have your abortion changed to I haven't been effed like that since grade school. No further rewrites were requested."
Okay. So it was a line that was changed in Fight Club? I've never heard that. Uh,
I never heard that either. I absolutely didn't know that. Well, I learned something new every day. I had no idea. And by the way, can you show me the previous super chats for a second?
sure.
From the top. Uh, so the dead man for the first one with the global warming was for $5. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Mr. Phobos gave $2 for the see you next Tuesday. Dexter's Lure Lab gave a $10 super sticker with the friendly pair and the thank you. And the dead man then gave $4.99. That was for the beefaroni fund. And Joshua Calkins gave $4.99. And now the dead man actually didn't disappoint. He gave us a poof sticker,
We
which
gotta poop.
we greatly appreciate that, dead man. Thank you.
Ladies
Even
ladies and
even
gentlemen, we got him. We got
even even your poop gestures are welcome around here. And yeah, well, we have the donations also on Rumble, on the Rumble side. Sean Linane with 2 Rumble rants of $5. So thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us and sending us these gifts. It's really, really appreciated. And yeah, what were we talking about before we went into this?
Oh, goodness.
Fight Club.
We
Steve
were
said
we
Fight
were
Club.
talking
They
Fight Club, we were talking about China with banning Hollywood movies.
that doesn't even matter. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
this doesn't even matter at
Doesn't even
all.
matter. It's just like a nothing. What else did we write in our headline? We have trying to see. So we went through Trump tariff mania. I liked the tariff mania idea. I didn't see it in a lot of other streams. People called it different things, but I think like Trump tariff mania is like a good way to describe it. Jeff Bezos under fire. Did you see this today,
This was,
Professor?
the guy who, one of the guys from Handmaid's Tale was talking about Jeff Bezos. Is that what the thing you're talking about?
No, even better, even
Oh,
better.
okay. Oh, that was the
This
only
is
thing I
great.
saw. One of the actors from, Handmaid's Tale was saying something about Jeff Bezos.
I see. I'm talking about this. Did it share it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this guy here. This guy.
Yeah, that's
Look at
him,
him
Bradley
as
Whitford. Yeah, he's an actor in Handmaid's Tale. He's done a bunch of other stuff too, but yeah.
okay, okay.
He
So
was doing a publicity thing for the new season of Handmaid's Tale that
I
started with
got you.
everybody's
Then we,
favorite feminist, propaganda television show.
yeah, I watched the first episode of that show. So I never watched another episode again. I feel great about that. Variety, Bradley Whitford. I would really like to ask Jeff Bezos, who, when I worked on Transparent, was talking about the importance of supporting the transformer community, who has been turned into a political football. What the hell is happening here? So, I answered him. And I just said, answer. Jeff Bezos is a billionaire that only cares about his bottom line. He never personally really cared about DEI. He just did what he thought was trendy, which is also what he's doing now. And I think that Jeff Bezos, whatever, like, wherever the wind is blowing, that's where he goes.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that usually, is ahead of the wind. He's usually a guy that kind of sees where the wind is blowing and then blows in that direction, especially with his politics. I'm not saying maybe he did well with his company, but you understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah.
Like
He's
if
about
you
the money. He's gonna
the
go
the,
where the
sec-
money is.
the second that Trump was elected, suddenly softening, even leading up to it, when it looked like he was going to win, he wouldn't let the Washington Post endorse Kamala. He came to the inauguration. He immediately starts shifting his positions. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm.
he's doing whatever he thinks is good for his administration. It seems very political. I don't think that he has strong feelings about things one way or another. I think that his strong feelings are limited to his bank account being like full of billions of dollars.
Yeah, you're right. That is the most important thing too.
At best, he's thinking he has that like girlfriend of his that like wears like the naughty clothes. I think that is on his mind. His like billions. Although honestly, she seems a bit. I mean, I guess he's kind of awkward too.
He is kind of awkward.
I don't know what
No
to think about
question.
that lady. I don't know what to think about her. I feel like his original wife seemed halfway normal. Like this other lady, I'm not sure about her.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she was halfway normal and she decided to leave him. So I guess that lets you know who would want to actually stay with him, right?
She got so much money. She like walked away with
A ton.
so
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
money. She got so much money she doesn't know what to do with it. Sometimes she like starts giving it to charity, sometimes to like crappy causes. I don't know what. I don't even know if she's doing anything good with that money. I mean, maybe she is,
Oh,
maybe she
I'm
isn't.
quite certain she's not.
Maybe she's not at all. But somehow she came off as less pompous than he does. He always gives this feeling that he's like really full of himself. Listen, maybe that's what happens when you're so rich, like, and you made all this money. You act like that. Maybe it's like you can't get over it. Yeah, it's a feeling you. It's like Frodo in the Ring.
I mean, when you have that much money, I mean, what generally what do you do with that much money? It's just like
I don't know. That's a lot of money to have. I mean, it's the type of money that every day you could just get up and sky's the limit.
yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't want that kind of money if anybody's offering. I mean, I take it, but it's just like how do you do you feel like a sense of obligation, like noblesse oblige to like make sure you're doing something worthwhile with it, or do you really just fill up a giant vault with it and swim around in the
You
money, I
swim
guess.
around. Imagine this guy at any moment, he could just snap his fingers, some private jet will take him anywhere he wants in the world. Everywhere he arrives, he's like, he has an unlimited cash supply. Not unlimited, like, oh, maybe we'll get like the higher end wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if there's like Johnny Walker, you'll get like the green label. You know what I mean? He doesn't play with stuff like that. He could get like the fanciest, most expensive bottle of wine within a radius of like miles, and it won't even matter.
Like you could literally, I mean, like
He
when
could
you're
arrive
when
somewhere, buy a Lamborghini, drive it around, and.
and then just leave it on the side of the road for somebody else to
Probably.
take,
Just be
right? You
like,
know,
"Ah,
like,
I'll just"
"Oh, it ran out of gas. I'd rather just give it to somebody than, than bother
Exactly.
refilling it," right?
No, but it's true. That's the
You could
amount
just
of
do
money he
that.
has. That's a whole lot of money. I wonder to myself, like, how would it be if you had that kind of money? Do you think it would change you?
Oh, well, I don't think you can have that kind of money without it changing you, certainly. Would it change me in particular? You'd always want to think no.
You're gonna
Honestly,
be such a jerk.
I no, no, I tend I have very simple tastes, and, I tend to be, I'm not a, what they would call a social chameleon, right? When I'm in a group of people, like, I'm just gonna be myself. I'm not trying to change to make other people around me happy. Like, if 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 they're gonna be around me, either they're gonna like me or they're not gonna like me. I'm not like changing who I am for every little person around me. So I would like to think that that I would stay more or less myself, be who I am with that much money. But I don't think that you can have that kind of money, that kind of influence over things without it changing you somewhat, right? So yeah, you never know, until you're in that kind of a situation, like, what it would be like.
You know
I know this show would be huge. I'd be out there, buying up all kinds of, bots to come view our show, as if I'm
Sure,
not already. Oh, no, just kidding. No.
sure.
No,
That's
just
a
kidding. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a good idea if you have all the money, you could buy them. But what
Yeah.
was I gonna say? Uh, White Lotus, did you see that?
The White Lotus show?
Yes.
No, I've never watched White Lotus.
It's a weird show. To this day, I have kind of strange feelings about this show, but it is rather stylish and somewhat interesting. It's just like, there's certain things that happen in it that like are kind of, raising eyebrows, eyebrow raising. I don't know what term I'm looking for. You've never watched it?
No, I've never that's not a show I've ever, paid any attention to. Um,
So the reason I bring it up because it kind of reminds me of what you were saying. First of all, they had a finale this week, so I
oh,
don't
they
know if
did.
anybody watched.
I had heard somebody talking about it or had seen a post about it somewhere, but, had not really, paid much attention. Didn't really seem like the kind of thing I would really enjoy all that much, but, it definitely has been, very, very popular, out there over the past few seasons. Has the latest season been as popular as some of the previous seasons, or
I'll tell you what. I think that the first season was probably the best. The second season, maybe, and then the third season. So it's a case of sort of diminishing returns.
Mhm.
That said, I wasn't bored with it. I watched it, but I don't know how to feel about it. It's there was one storyline this season that kind of bothered me. I feel like they're always trying to go to very dark places. Even people and their kind of uh, preferences and things. Like it always seems like they're really trying to push the envelope and go in a lot of strange direction. There is something in this third season that involved two brothers. I don't know how to say this on these platforms, not Rumble, but I don't know how to say this without getting in trouble. Two brothers that are what word am I looking for?
Uh, PDF files, Transformers.
They're it's along those lines. They're
Okay.
like they do something naughty together. Do you
Oh,
understand?
yeah.
And
Um,
it was a strange situation, and it's a little more complicated than what I said. But man, that's just a strange thing to have. I understand maybe some people watch this show and think that's cool. I just kind of I didn't love that whole angle. At the same time, the only reason I even remembered now. There's one thing that I did like. There's a character, this is mild spoilers, but really, really mild. There's a character in the first season who has money, and by the end of the season, something happens and she acts a certain way, and she's sort of like, a bitch to this other lady who's not rich. Are you with me?
Sure.
So in this season, the same lady that was basically treated poorly in the first season by this rich lady, she sort of ends up like in a situation where she comes into some money, and the second she comes into money, she starts treating somebody else like shitty.
Oh yeah.
Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yep.
I thought it was interesting. It was done in a very kind of interesting way, and the idea that the second she came into some money, like her whole mindset changed, I thought was very interesting.
Hmm. All right. Yeah.
But otherwise, I
That's
mean, there's
a
certain
Yeah,
it.
that's a common, that's a common sort of trope, story to tell, right? With the person who's been changed by money, and of course you have also the stories of the people who are not changed by the money, right? And realize in the end that the money is actually ruining them and their lives and everything. So yeah, Mm,
And,
interesting
yeah, I
stories.
mean, it had Walton Goggins in it, which is always good, and I thought that he was really good. There were some things that I genuinely liked about this season, but like I said, it's a show that I feel kind of strange about. The one thing I'll say is, it's clear that the guy that makes this, if you look at his 3 seasons, at least it's a guy that has a sort of vision of what he wants to do. At least when it comes to these 3 seasons, he has a certain thing that he's working on, and he delivers that. It's not maybe on the same level every time, and it may not be for you or maybe for you, but he has something that he's done, and that minimum is something that I respect.
All right, yeah. Not sure if it's for me, but
I don't know if it's for you either. I
yeah.
really like, it's not a perfect, like, it doesn't fit me like a glove either, but there's something about it that I mildly appreciate. I appreciate the way it's done. I can't say that it's like crappy or it doesn't have any quality. It's a quality show. We were talking about like Daredevil and how there's no strength and no vision and no focus. I actually feel like on White Lotus, whoever runs this thing is rather focused.
Well, that's good.
You just may not like his bottom line, but it is at least somebody that has its own a steady hand doing whatever it is that it wants to do. Just the question is if you even like that or not.
Hmm. All right.
That's the
All right.
best way I could put it, I guess.
Sure.
Am I the only person in the world that has seen White Lotus? I feel like
I
nobody
I
has.
don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely people watching it. I've seen plenty of people
Nobody in our
talking about
circles.
it, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe not in
Nobody in
our
our circles. I'm
circle.
the only person that watched this, and yeah, I think that this will probably be used against me. Probably Melvin is sitting around clipping this, and next time we're on Mr. Brown Alliance, somebody will tell him that I watched The White Lotus.
Hey, better than watching Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale, man, I watched that one episode and it ended, and I'm like, I never want to watch this show again. And that was it. It was something where this lady at the end is sort of being like served grapes,
Mhm.
but like everybody thinks it's great that this is happening. It's like part of the norm. And I just watch it and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I feel like I know where this show is heading, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, it's I don't even know how to explain what that show is. Like it's some sort of feminist torture porn or something. I don't get it. I don't get why they have any interest in watching this. They keep trying to claim that, oh, this is where America's going. It's like, what? So
I don't understand
ridiculous.
that either.
It's so ridiculous. No, nobody just because there was a decision at you know at the federal level to say, well, we've changed our decision at the Supreme Court, and say we're going to say that, well, you know, maybe we shouldn't have made that decision. on the abortion question at the federal level. Maybe that does belong to the states to make those decisions, and overturn that, because there generally was not a judicial precedent for them to make that decision. It was a rather activist decision, so they overturned it, and then everyone started freaking out about, oh, we're gonna, women are they're gonna take away our birth control, and they're gonna take away gay marriage, and they're gonna take it. Hasn't happened. None of that has happened. Um, it's exactly as people had said. We're just putting it back to the states to let them decide. And the crazy thing is, without the decision that was made by the Supreme Court back then, all of this would have already been worked out. All of the legislatures would have done their jobs, the states would have done their jobs, everyone would have had their voices heard by their local municipalities and by their states, and it all would have been worked out legislatively, and we would never have had all of the hand wringing and terror, from these people that we had over that Supreme Court decision, right?
Have
They
you watched?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you watched even one episode of *Handmaid's Tale*?
I watched about 10 minutes of an episode, and I just thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I suffered through an entire episode.
I feel for you, my friend.
It was so annoying, and like I said at the end, there's all this stuff where like she walks around and like they're all oppressed and whatever, and then like after showing you like the oppressed propaganda thing for like 45 minutes or whatever it is, the last few minutes is that like people kind of like hold, I think, the lady down, and then there's like a grape, a serving of grapes, and
Yep.
I'm like, man, this is such a bummer. I can't really spend time on this. That's what I thought to myself. I don't care if this is like the best show that was ever made. I don't dislike the main actress, Elizabeth. Uh, what's her name? Is it Olsen? No, that Peggy Olsen. That's what her name. Elizabeth.
I do not remember.
Come on, I don't want to Google it. I used to have a photographic memory. It's Elizabeth something. Come on, man. How could I not know this? I'm so embarrassed that I don't know what her last name is. Maybe it starts with an S. Elizabeth. It's not Elizabeth Shue.
No, it's not
That's a
Elizabeth
different
Shue.
actress.
Starts
It's
with an M.
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss. That's it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So
Yep.
she's a decent actress. I thought she did pretty well on Mad Men. Not enough for me to want to watch this weird feminism fanatic show with her. I guess there's like an audience for it. I'm not that audience. Like you watch 10 minutes, I watched the full episode. I gave it a fair chance. It wasn't for me.
I did not give it a fair chance. I just watched a few minutes of it just to say that I watched a few minutes of it because I thought it would be awful. And it was awful. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, after that one episode that I saw, I think there was like 5 million more episodes, and I've never watched any of them. It's a show. It's not a show for men.
No, absolutely not. Oh no, not even close.
No, it's like this is for like those. Sometimes when you on the news see some weird activist lady that has like blue hair and like a ring in her nose and stuff, she's the target audience for that.
Oh, and there's plenty of those around. Oh boy.
I guess not enough to save a show though. Usually those the people that they court don't actually watch these shows or these stations.
Oh no, generally they don't actually watch anything. They don't pay attention to any of these shows. They want to make sure that they represent their views and or their genders or whatever, but no, rarely do any of them actually tune in or spend money on any of these things, right? They demand that their representation be there and that these topics be discussed, but they don't actually tune in to see it.
Absolutely. By the way, if you're new and you're listening to this stream and you haven't followed us already on Rumble, you should definitely do that. Or press the like button. You can also do it on other platforms wherever you're watching us. You can subscribe and like. Uh, but now you can go on, Professor.
Oh no, that was really all I had to say. It's just
Well,
uh
what's our next topic? The White Lotus was kind of a surprise.
yeah.
Let
Yeah,
me
we were
see.
we were talking about Bezos for just a bit there.
Bezos. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we were talking about Bezos. And yeah, that guy that's like whining about transparent, and we were just saying like he doesn't care about any of that stuff. That's
Oh,
the thing.
no. No.
This goes back, and I once told you this story that I was at like one of those cocktail parties, and I met the guy. He was on a Netflix show. He was a writer, but he also appeared on screen. And he was at the time. It was relatively like a new wave of woke happening, and it seemed like he was excited about the opportunities it may bring. And I was very blunt, and I said that the people that are doing this are very disingenuous people. That like you have a bunch of CEOs of studios and people influential in the industry that 5 minutes ago were like the most, some of them at least, were very discriminating assholes. So what? Now they're nice people. Now they're not like that. Like from one day to the other, they're just a different person. And that's the kind of thing that I was telling him. Even though I knew it was maybe raining on his parade, I felt like I was having an honest conversation with him. I'm not sure he felt that way, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
I feel like he probably got annoyed. I feel like every single kind of celebrity that's ever talked to me has probably been annoyed.
Been thoroughly annoyed by you, Bryce.
I
Just
mean, you did see at least like you kind of got like a glimpse of my alter ego at a Comic Con. So I think of like a cocktail party with like snooty celebrities. Come on, man, that's kind of funny.
it is.
I only wish that like the problem is that nobody will ever see it. It was just like I was putting on a show for myself.
Yeah.
Like
Hey, you
the
know
only
what? If you can't have fun with yourself, right? You
I
can't-
had fun. I had fun. Like I learned a lot too. It's so interesting to see certain things like up close and just kind of helps you kind of understand things. I'm not saying that all of them were bad, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
There is humor to be had over there.
Hmm.
Anyhow, the next
What
thing we
else?
were
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about. So
sweet baby, sweet baby.
do you know anything about this?
I know that Sony canceled a bunch of projects that had to do with Sweet Baby. Is that it, or was there something else?
That's good if you have it, but there was something they released a game south
Uh,
of the six or something. What was it called?
the Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Hold on.
South of the something. They released it.
South of Midnight, was that the name of
South of
it?
Midnight, whatever that was, I think nobody was playing it. They released it today and had like one person was playing it or something.
Yeah, no, it has not been doing well, and the reviews have not been kind. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that have happened. Actually, I'll pull up something about South of Midnight here, but yeah, there was some news that was coming out, leaking out of Sony recently that they had a bunch of projects that they canceled. And when they looked back, when people actually looked at the projects that got canceled, they started putting two and two together. Let me see. They started putting two and two together to kind of recognize that, oh, a bunch of these that got canceled were games that had ties to Sweet Baby Inc. And in fact, it was a friend of the channel, Gothic Therapy, right? They found some really interesting, uh, correlations between some of these games and everything that was canceled and their connection to Sweet Baby Inc. So Master of the TDS, we've actually had him on the show before. He's one that was out there kind of pointing out some of these relationships. So what were the games that got cut? Let me see if I can find a list here. No, crap. No, that's not it.
I see somebody said that they watched White Lotus. It was a great show.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you like what you like.
By the way, I think it's the same person. I could be confusing, but I've said this before. I'm sure there's people that their streams are more based on kind of conspiracy theories that are pointing fingers at like certain people that are angry or things like that. We don't really do that here. I think this is more of like a positive late night conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I like free speech and everything, but sometimes, you also kind of got to read the room, sort of. If everybody's chilling out and hanging out and we have this kind of positive vibe going on, somebody just comes in there and he's like, oh, did you know these guys were responsible for everything that happened and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just too much here for a late hour right now,
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there, just explaining
Yeah.
what my policy is that
Yeah, it's a little much to kind of keep an eye on all the chat and deal with sometimes some people who have it seems like an axe to grind or something, not explicitly saying nasty things, but at the same time bringing up lots of basic conspiracy stuff. So yeah, I'm not finding this this list here. Well, you know what? How long is this video from? How long is this video from Master of the TDS here? Yeah, we can just watch this real quick. It's real interesting. Yeah, we'll bring this up. I'll bring the volume up just a bit.
Over the past year, we've exposed how Sweet Baby Inc. has embedded itself in the gaming industry, rewriting narratives, shifting priorities, and shaping entire projects from the shadows. They've dodged accountability. They've pretended it's all harassment. That Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what gamers think it does. But now, someone might finally be pulling the plug. A verified SBI insider has come forward with something massive. Sony has started canceling contracts, specifically the ones with SBI attached. Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I'm joined by my lovely wife,
Writing Raven.
Welcome back to Gothic Therapy. Our Sweet Baby Inc. insider has come forward with some very interesting information involving Sweet Baby Inc. And this time, it involves Sony.
But before we jump in, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, join the night shift, and stay up to date with everything they don't want you to know.
Before we dive into the insider information, we'd be remiss not to mention that Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair was already in the news recently.
Thanks in part to the work of my amazing husband.
Guilty as charged. At GDC, Kim gave a talk about artificial intelligence in gaming, saying it should be used for empathy and inclusion, not profit, which is a little ironic considering what her company actually does behind the scenes.
I wonder if she named her AI Bowser.
Oh no. You know the story behind that, Price?
I remember something, yes. Something about browser and sexual things or something.
Yeah, no, she had an old podcast where they were talking about video game characters and then got into like talking about them all sexually and stuff and about how
right. That I remember something like that. Yeah.
Oh, so wrong.
Kim preaching inclusivity with AI is pretty rich.
When the biggest name in gaming might be cutting ties with her company entirely. A source we've fully verified, someone who's given us solid info in the past, reached out with a claim. Sony has started canceling projects that had Sweet Baby Inc. attached.
We don't know every project, and we can't confirm each title independently, but the source was very clear. These cancellations weren't random. They were deliberate.
If a verified insider isn't enough for you, that's fine. treat it like a rumor, but we stand by the source 100%. And what they told us tracks with what's been happening behind the scenes. Back in January, multiple reports surfaced that Sony was quietly canceling half a dozen in-development games. Titles weren't named, but they were described as major projects, some already years into development.
And this wasn't just casual restructuring. These were deliberate, targeted cuts. Projects that were already deep into production suddenly dropped without explanation.
If Sweet Baby Inc. was embedded in any of those titles, Sony may have finally decided it wasn't worth the risk.
And it gets even juicier.
According to our insider, Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in a follow-up to God of War Ragnarok. Whether that was a DLC, a spin-off focused on Atreus, or even a full sequel, we can't say for sure. But what we do know is this: that project may no longer be moving forward.
And it wouldn't be their first time. Sweet Baby Inc. had narrative involvement in Ragnarok itself. They even posted about it.
So if they were embedded again in the sequel, and that's one of the contracts Sony just axed, then Sony might have pulled the plug on a flagship project because it had the Sweet Baby stink all over it.
So what does this actually mean?
It could mean the industry is finally pushing back. That after all the narrative meddling, after all the consultant-driven homogenization, Sony might be the first domino to fall.
If they're canceling SBI-attached products quietly, what other studios might follow? What other consultants might suddenly stop getting calls?
We're not saying Sweet Baby Inc. is finished, but if they were part of a God of War sequel that got cut, that's not a trim, that's a power move. Sony might be sending a message. And we heard it loud and clear. The fight is not over. This is just the beginning.
And you better believe we'll be watching what happens next.
Because sometimes, even the gods get dethroned.
And sweet babies get spanked.
So yeah, that's just a little something there from our friends over at Gothic Therapy, Master of TDS and his wife. Yeah, so perhaps some of the gaming industry is waking up to these issues and might actually be doing some good in canceling some of these titles that have been infected by a lot of this stuff. Let's see. I had a tab here. Let me find it. So you mentioned South of Midnight. So yes, well, this is also from that Park Place. Oh, come on, share. It's okay. There, I did switch. I kept clicking on it and nothing was happening. Sorry. So yeah, Sweet Baby has obviously they're consultant, they're narrative consultants is their thing. But they have this most recent release. This is not obviously the only thing that they've put out recently that they've had connections to. There's been a few different projects that have been making the rounds. People have been talking about for a while now. But this latest title, South of Midnight, is one that was heavily rumored to have been deeply influenced by Sweet Baby Inc. and their narrative, and the changes that they made to it were pretty significant, right? They changed the character who was originally not a person of color. They changed that, and then they added in a bunch of other stuff, bunch of other identity politics things into the narrative. And then as it turns out, well, the game's just not very good. It's just not a very good game. I've seen a lot of reviews. People have been playing it just saying that it's just mediocre. That
How
in
can it
fact
be
the
a good game? They always come from a bad place. When something is when it's a bunch of annoying extortionist jerks, activists, how can the game be fun? When that's the foundation that it's built upon.
Yeah, it's got a meager concurrent play count. Only a few thousand players on Steam, which is terrible. It is part of Game Pass. We don't know how many people actually download it and play it from Game Pass. But yeah, the totals for gameplay on this game have been absolutely miserable. And of course, they had to push lots of stuff. I don't want to see Kim Beller's face. Lots of stuff that they had to push into this. to change this game so that it represented the right people and whatnot. It's as it says here, self inserts, right? It's awful. It's awful. It's not a fun game, and apparently only has a grand total of 7.5 hours of content for a fully priced game. But it is an indie title. It was made on a budget, but at the same time, that's pretty meager playtime for a modern game. And apparently the replayability is nil. Like it's not that fun the first time around. No, there's no reason to go back and make your way through it again. So let's say Steam users review echoes their disillusionment. One user, Johnny, wrote, looks kind of cool. No DEI rot in the game so far. The main problem is the gameplay. It's so boring. After 1.5 hours, I asked myself, do I want to continue? And the answer was no. So maybe didn't get far enough into it to see the DEI rot. Maybe gave up before before the player got there, but who knows, right? So yeah, I just keep waiting to see who's going to wake up and stop doing business with Sweet Baby Inc. And as we saw with that previous story, maybe it's going to be Sony that's going to be leading the way, cutting projects that they had things to do with. There has been a push. There's been a number of very vocal people who are, very, very vocal people in Japan, in the industry in Japan, saying, why do we need to make games for the West? We should just make games for us. And if the West wants them, then they'll buy them anyway. And in fact, that's what a lot of people are doing. I mean, come on. Some of the most popular comics today, in fact, all of the most popular quote unquote comics are Japanese manga. That's it. The actual comic book industry in the US is in tatters. Manga is huge, and it's because it's created for a Japanese audience. And there's been huge backlashes when people have found out about, some of the Western people who are part of localizing manga, who've been inserting all sorts of stuff into those manga that was not originally there, changing wording and making it so that there's a character that's kind of an effeminate man, making it so they're actually trans. There's other things that have been done too, just with the way language is used, the way characters are represented in the language that's been changed by these localizers. That's been a huge deal. People have really been very, very vocal about complaining about how what they want is the original Japanese media that was created. They don't want some kind of other, changed thing that's been westernized, right? And I think the game industry professionals, I think they're all very right. They need to focus on developing games for Japan, for Japanese tastes, and then, localizing them and bringing them over to the US. I think they're going to be huge. People are going to love those games because a lot of Westerners are sick of Western games anyway, right? A lot of these Western studios are in full collapse at this point. We've seen Ubisoft falling apart. We're seeing, a lot of other studios struggling to get their titles out there and get them.
All the ones that released turds this year.
Yeah. I mean, everybody is struggling. The game industry, Western games, Europe, US, Canada, all of these, companies are, struggling. Well, not all of them. There are some of them that are doing all right, especially some of the indies. But yeah, a lot of these are struggling badly to be able to stay operational and to continue to develop project. We've seen a bunch of stuff that was canceled by WB Games recently, whole studios that have been closed. we've got a bunch of different studios under Ubisoft that are either closed or in the process of being closed. So yeah, it's a rough time in the game industry right now, and I think some of these Japanese developers are 100% correct. They just need to be making games for their Japanese audience, and I think that if they make games that are true to their vision, that are fun, that are in some ways challenging. Oh my God, a challenging game. Then they're gonna attract a much bigger audience than trying to insert politics here and there and stuff to try and as they've been told by certain people that they have to put in all of these ideologies and stuff to appeal to the West. They don't. Gamers don't want that stuff. They're not interested in it. Make your authentically Japanese games, and we're going to buy them anyway.
I
Yep.
agree.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was the SBI stuff. And it looks like, another game down the drain thanks to
One
them.
more. Yep.
Like, I'm trying to think if they even have one that was considered successful, or they all look the same. They're just another failure.
I mean, they all have female protagonists. Every last one. The female protagonist is almost guaranteed to be of color, right? They're going to be Asian, or they're going to be black, or they're going to be, some other, Native American something. So they're going to be female of color, not non-white. And then, of course, they're going to be massive girl bosses who always have all the things they need all the time to always succeed. And kind of like Ray, right? Always has everything she needs to succeed. She was always powerful. She just had to discover how powerful she was. They all have these characters in common. The narratives are always just a total mess. No one's interested in it. They don't want to, they don't buy this stuff. It's like, remember Dustborn? What a disastrous thing that was, right? Had that female
Yeah,
lead
that was a huge
character.
failure.
That was a huge failure, and at this and one of the most astonishingly bad, like just had just propaganda and everything just crammed into it at every level. It was wild how much stuff they inserted in to that material. So it's I keep waiting for this stuff to disappear. Obviously, the development, life cycle for video games is much longer than it is for television shows and for film. We're still going to be waiting on some of this stuff to finally work its way out or get canceled for at least a couple more years. But hopefully that we're going to see a big resurgence in, more indie games. Maybe Nintendo is going to be able to, get back to making more of their first party games. It seems like at this point they only put out like some new first party games. That the Zeldas and the Marios and stuff only come out like every 3 years or something at best. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we went over that. I'm trying to think. There must have been something else. What did we miss? What's going on? I feel like we missed something.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's the first time in a while that we haven't talked about Rachel Zegler, but I think the main reason is that I think that there's really, we've passed all the different stages, and I think at this point, she's busy with her show in like the British Broadway, and that's it. Like I feel like she's talking less and less about Snow White. She's like posting photos of her in London or something. No, but there was one funny thing is that one day in her reel she put like a posting that she's like, I'm #1. And it's like, it was because the movie Y2K was shown on Warner Brothers, and for a minute they said it was the #1 movie on the platform. Although I can't really understand why. It really wasn't a good movie. It'll be so strange if like suddenly they get money to do more of that show.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I remember. I was going to ask. Did you get to see Minecraft yet?
I didn't see it. No.
Oh, he hasn't seen
Did
Minecraft
you
yet.
you saw it?
Oh no, I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in seeing that. I do not like Jack Black at all. I
No,
really can't stand him.
he's outstayed his welcome. I agree with you. I've just been really busy. There were a few moments that I thought maybe I'll go now and watch it. And I just didn't have time. And it's not like this movie is the thing that I really want to see. It looks dumb to me, but I would have seen it if I had time for it.
Yeah, it's I'm amazed that it's doing as well as it is so far.
I mean, I guess you take an IP like a video game that's nostalgic and maybe some people go watch it, but I really feel like they got it wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I was saying the other day on Brown's channel, my son has absolutely no interest at all in going to see it. He's said numerous times, "No, it looks terrible. I don't want to see that.
It still
It looks
made
so
money though. I don't
dumb."
know. So it was
Oh
worth
no,
it
and
for
it's
somebody, I
still
guess. I just
making
don't know to
huge.
who.
It's making huge money, and I don't really know how that's happening, but it appears to be. So, um, yeah, it I really wonder how well that's gonna hold up over the break or, over the weekends, right? Is it gonna continue to be, bringing in that much next weekend and then the weekend after that? Or has the sort of meme quality of it just worn off and nobody cares anymore, right?
Yeah.
I Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It looks absolutely awful to me. There's nothing about it whatsoever that I find interesting, and yeah, we'll uh, we'll have to wait and see how that second weekend goes. Um, but yeah, there's nothing about it that interests me one bit. Um, yeah, I don't know what else do we have to talk about. I think we've kind of gone through all our subjects tonight, Bryce.
Well,
Feel like we should have more, but I
well,
guess
sometimes, it's just you have days like that, but let's just
yeah.
look at a few tidbits. For starters, you have did you see this? I don't know why it's not sharing it. So, Robert Pattinson may be joining the cast of Dune 3.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. What
Yes.
what role is he going to be playing? It seems like they've already cast just about everybody. Wonder.
Here, sources say Pattinson would play the villain role of Skytail.
Skytail. I do not remember who that is.
Don't look at me.
I'm
I don't
sure
even think I
I'm
read
sure
it.
there's some crazy Dune fans in our audience that know who that is. Let's see.
I mean, personally, I don't love Robert Pattinson. I know some people do. I don't really like him. Nothing personal, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know the guy, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
as an actor, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I don't particularly like Timothy Chalamet. As I've
No, I
never
don't
really
like him
seen him in
either.
anything that I think
And
he's particularly
Zendaya.
compelling in. Yeah, I can't stand Zendaya.
It's
She's
like they want to do this like a Voltron and annoying people.
So it says, yeah, Robert Pattinson is rumored to have been cast as Scytale, the primary antagonist of the third Dune film, Dune Messiah. The character is a face dancer, a shape-shifting spy and assassin who conspires with the Bene Gesserit and Spacing Guild to overthrow Paul Atreides. Okay, well, he would be the main bad guy then. Okay,
I guess that's
interesting.
what they're going with.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I was really underwhelmed by the second one. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see the third one, but yeah, I found the second film really underwhelming.
I'm gonna watch it, but, I
Yeah,
also had some issues with the second one. I hope the third one would be better, but I'm not exactly counting on it.
yeah. I mean, not saying that the third one was necessarily, or the second one was necessarily a bad film. I didn't think it was, but not just not something that I just really enjoyed all that much. It was just
1
okay.
was
I
better
thought,
than 2.
yeah,
1 was better
one
than
was
2.
better than two, and a lot of people complained about one, saying it was way too slow. But I thought that it handled the character development really well, and was a really interesting story of how we saw him sort of coming into recognizing the power that he had, and his destiny, and whether he wanted to embrace that destiny and or not. And then we did get more of that in the second one, but also a lot of the changes that they made to the story, I didn't feel like they actually worked for the story. I didn't like that Zendaya suddenly turned on him as like, you're not, the Messiah or whatever, like, because that's not how it worked in the original story, right? That's, she understood that his marriage to the princess whatever was entirely political, right? That he didn't actually love her. He did still love oh, forgot her name. You know what I mean. The Zendaya's character.
Yes.
um
Chani?
yeah, Chani, yeah. Did still love her. She was going to be the father of his children, not the princesses
I
so
hope
much.
the mother of his children, but it is a
But I
late
see the
hour.
father, the
Yeah,
mother of his
these
children.
days, you never know with all the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
pronouns.
it's Zendaya, who knows? Oh, it's late, Price.
She does look like a little boy.
Good, yeah,
Anyhow, I knew what you meant. It's okay, go on.
oh, no. So, yeah, the, Argentum said, heard Toxic Man Flu go off on the Chani thing. Yeah, it changes the dynamic, and I don't like the really like, oh, well, she's coming into her power, and she's gonna be stepping up, and she's gonna stand up to Paul and tell him what's what. And it's like, uh, that's not the role that she played in the story. Stop trying to change it. It's this is an incredibly popular story for a reason. People, have been following these books, reading these books for decades. There's people who are fanatical about these books, and to try to change things like that, to slip your gender politics and stuff in there. It's yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything. I never really watched those I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. I have no interest whatsoever in them.
Yeah, no, I was never a fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah,
I'm
Elizabeth
not really a
Moss.
fan of the horror movies in general. It's just not something that horror and thrillers, just I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me. More, some of the 80s horror and stuff where it was really just sort of you know the, the gore and sort of the ridiculousness of the whole thing, right? Like I could enjoy that on a level of like, yeah, I'm watching this because I'm gonna watch the splatter fest, I'm gonna watch the gore. It's ridiculous, it's completely over the top, and that was the fun of it, right? It wasn't scary at all watching those types of horror movies. Most of the time, most horror movies that I've seen, people love these horror movies. Most of them, it doesn't even raise a hair on the back of my neck. They're just silly. The plots make no sense. Everyone is like the dumbest version of themselves, kind of like that uh that insurance commercial. It was probably a Geico commercial, right? Where the you've got all the different teenagers that are hiding from the guy with wielding the chainsaw. They're like, let's take that car over there. No, let's go hide behind those sharp tools. Or it's just
Yeah, that
ridiculous.
was kind of weird.
Oh, Elizabeth Quint's The First Aliens was great. The First Alien
First
is
Alien was good, yeah.
amazing.
The best one to date, I think.
To this day will still creep me out. Still make the hair stand up on the back of my neck. And that the scene when they're looking for Jonesy and they're walking through the room with all the chains and the dripping water from the ceiling and everything. Oh, just the whole time you're just waiting for something to just jump out and get you. It's fantastic. It's so well done. Absolutely, just incredible thriller. Yeah, love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the effects. Oh,
hello? Are you there? Professor? Professor? I think I lost the professor, or I lost myself. Can you people hear me, or you people? Oh, no. Oh, okay, he left. It was me. It's all me. And now he's back. That was so strange, Professor, because I was talking to you and then you were gone.
yeah. No, yeah. I was in the middle of saying something and it just kicked me out. I was gone, and then
I tried to rebound, but I failed miserably. What were you saying?
Oh no, I mean it gave me trouble trying to get back in too. I kept kind of clicking on it. It was like
Strange things are going.
Denied.
Strange things are afoot. Probably I'll be thrown out soon too.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was something else. What else was I going to look at? We went over the White Lotus. I'm trying to think if there was a movie that I've seen that I didn't talk about. Did I tell you about the movie that the guy was like adopted a penguin?
What? No.
Okay. So I think this was in recent weeks, and I can't even remember when it was. I don't even know if the movie came out. Sometimes, like you can go see a screening where like they surprise you. It's like a movie that hasn't been released, and they show like advanced screenings. So I went to one recently, and it took place in like during World War II or something in Argentina. There's a British guy there, and he's like teaching at a school for children or something, for boys or something, and he ends up like against his will, like adopting a penguin. And then there's some penguin that he keeps talking to. Does anybody know what this is?
Okay.
I can't even remember. Maybe it's called like The Penguin Lessons. Is there such a movie? Now I don't know if I was dreaming it or if I really saw a movie like this. Is there a movie called Penguin Lessons?
Don't know. Let's see. Movie about a man who adopts a penguin. There are two movies that involve men adopting and befriending a penguin. The first on the list is called The Penguin Lessons from 2024.
That's the movie. I suddenly saw it recently. It may have been made in 2024, but I think only 3 people saw it and it didn't have a distributor. And now, like, I feel like, I don't know who this distributor is for this, but I can only imagine he may not be the biggest distributor. And it's a guy that like talks to some penguin the whole time.
Based on a memoir by Tom Mitchell, a British teacher who taught in Argentina during the 1970s, follows the story of Mitchell, played by Steve Coogan, as he rescues a penguin covered in oil from a beach in Uruguay. Okay.
When I think about it, it wasn't during World War II. It was actually, there was a war, like a revolution happening in Argentina. Maybe it refers to World War II in a conversation, but I just thought it was closer to that time frame, but I guess it isn't. In any case, the movie itself is kind of so-so.
I do like Steve Coogan.
I do like him. He was probably the part that I liked. What I liked about the movie, and if I had to say something positive, is that his kind of douchey vibe was sort of amusing in different situations, where if it was a different actor, it may have been kind of boring. He added a little bit of like interest to the movie But overall, like, after I saw it, I never really thought about it again. I just remembered now, at this moment in time, I remember that I even saw the movie.
Huh.
Like, I saw it maybe 2 weeks ago, and I never mentioned it, like, never said a word to you because I kept forgetting about it. But there's a penguin, that's what I'll say.
Hey, penguins. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, there's a penguin in the movie.
We got yeah. Oh. You know what else I thought of that I didn't even want to bring up, Price?
What is it?
Doctor Who.
Oh, I saw something, and you know what? I'm just so tired. Is that the thing that Amazon is taking it over, and they're calling it Doctor Who with abbreviated or some nonsense like that?
Oh, I had not heard that.
I didn't know if that was real or it's like a dream or like an April Fool's prank or something about Amazon taking over, but I don't know. What were you saying?
Yeah, there has been some recent rumors that potentially they might be the BBC might be working on a deal with Amazon uh not Apple since Disney is out. And no, just starting to hear some of the details of the new season and stuff, and it's just like I'm so sick. They're just beating a dead horse.
This show is so far gone. I mean, at this point,
It's
it's almost like it's not even fun to make fun of because we've gone through every angle of how annoying it is, and there's really not a lot more to say.
yeah. They've just destroyed this property. It was such a huge part of so many people's lives. I mean, it was part of the culture in Britain for decades, and it's just
Yeah, they're
ruined.
not. There's
It's
not a
it's
lot of
in
culture there now.
it's in tatters. So it's kind of sad.
It is sad.
Yeah. What can you do?
Nothing really, I guess. Let me see if there was anything else that I missed. Here at Price of Reason Studios, we aim to bring you only the
All the
best.
best late night stuff that we can remember.
Exactly. Uh, are you gonna? I wanted to kind of see that movie, The Amateur. It doesn't look that good. It's seemingly the type of movie that I would like. There's a new movie with Rami Malek who wants to get revenge because some people I think killed his wife. I don't mind those kind of movies, but somehow I'm not really sure how I feel. Oh, I don't know if you saw this thing. Mr. Beast was complaining of Trump's tariffs that he can't
Oh, I
sell his
did
chocolate or
see
something.
that. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be. We wanna. Yeah, it's gonna be even harder to make our chocolates in the U.S. now because of the tariffs. Oh, jeez.
You know, let me tell you something. Once I was standing online at the supermarket, I was kind of hungry for something sweet. And I think that maybe he has an agreement with supermarkets that they put like his product up front. And I just kind
Yep.
of took it and I didn't really think much about it. And then I think I got to my car or whatever it was, and I hadn't eaten a lot that day, and I kind of ate it. And it was a very standard chocolate. You know what I mean? There was nothing very special about it, in my opinion. There was nothing that I thought to myself, wow, this is really like I've never had anything like this. I didn't think that. It just tasted like chocolate.
It's like great value chocolate. Really, like it is the most bog standard like stuff. My son got some like little mini bars or something uh Halloween, and I tried one and I was like, there is absolutely nothing special about this. It's just chocolate. Like it's not even anything creative. It's just look, oh, it's chocolate and it has Mr. Beast's name on it. That was it.
And you came up with the idea of Feastables. I
Oh,
don't know, it's just
geez,
so annoying.
those are the best. Yeah, the Feastables. Oh man, I suppose you saw all the stories about those.
I have heard some stories, but what you tell me what
Well,
you were thinking.
so they initially, they were like, "Oh, look, it's got prime drink in it, and it's these feastable things. It's way better than Lunchables because it's got all, it's this whatever." And then somebody actually like took some off the shelf, went and did scientific testing on it, found it. It was absolutely packed with sodium, like just teeming with salt and horribly bad for you. And then uh when there's some online people on YouTubers and stuff that taste test all sorts of stuff, and there was a number of that they found. They opened them up and they were molded, like the cheese inside was moldy, and it was still the had not passed the expiration date. It was just it was moldy, and then there was a bunch of places where they were taking them off the shelves because they were finding a bunch of product that was molded, like still on the shelf. And so, yeah, the I joked about it with my son because he had those Mr. Beast bars or whatever. He actually asked for one for like as it was a few years ago when he first introduced him, asked to have one in his like stocking at Christmas or something. So we were joking about the Mr. Beast bars or whatever, and joking, "Oh, don't you want your, don't you want your moldy Mr. Beast Lunchable thing?" It's like, ew, no, gross.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've, and then there was his absolutely awful show that he did with Amazon, Beast Games. Did you watch any of that?
I didn't. I kept telling myself that I have to find time to watch it. Is it really bad?
Oh, it's terrible. If you want a really good summary of the show, um, Ryan George did one. Did a pitch meeting on it, but there's some other reviews on YouTube that people did of the show. Basically, half of the show, there weren't even like really contests for people in this reality show. Half of the show was just people trying to convince other competitors, the competitors trying to convince the other competitors to quit. That was it. Like
I see.
almost all of the challenges and stuff that they had were just okay, we're gonna do this thing and we're gonna have people in boats or whatever, and then they're gonna spend half their time just trying to convince the other people that they should take the whatever go home money and quit and leave,
I
instead of
see.
actual like competitions and eliminations and stuff like that. And then of course there's the whole thing with the uh kid grooming, we'll use that word, whatever, weirdness that was happening with some of the people,
Right.
guys
There
he
was one
employed.
person who was a transformer that worked for him that seemed very chummy with
Yeah.
underage kind
Yeah,
of thing.
liked him young, apparently, yes. Very, very creepy stuff. So, yeah, I've never, I mean, I will say, you know, respect where it's deserved. Uh, he has given a ton of money to some really, really beneficial things, helping people overseas with blindness and making sure people have medications and all sorts of things. That's great. I'm glad that he did those things, but that doesn't dismiss all of the other sort of assholey things that he's done as well. And yeah, the terrible show that he made, and some of the relationships that he has with some not so fantastic people. It doesn't erase those things from my memory, right?
Yeah, I understand. All
So
right. Well,
yeah, his claims about the tariffs making his chocolate bars cost more. I'm like, why don't you just pull out of the U.S. market altogether? Nobody wants to eat your terrible chocolate.
I was online and I think I was hungry and I ate it and there was really nothing special about it. I expected so much more considering that he's like, "Oh, like, I source it, it's so great. Mine is different than all the others," and I'm thinking, the way this guy talks up a big game, it's probably gonna be excellent, and it wasn't.
No, it wasn't anything special. Like I said, I would expect a generic Walmart chocolate bar to taste no different. So
Absolutely.
no
It
interest
was
whatsoever in spending, and they're expensive too. They're not cheap. They charge a lot for them. So yeah.
I see that they're doing some more, Yellowstone. Did you see this?
Yes, I saw they're planning even more Yellowstone. There'll be there's
Like the
yeah,
prequel to the prequel of the prequel.
1883, 1923, and there's going to be
1944.
1944. There's going to be a 1967 where they're all hippies living there, I think. And I'm just kidding. I don't know.
The problem I have for this is that she like, the original show was really tarnished, and it's hard to overcome that.
Yeah, I agree with you somewhat on that. Like that the fact that they it kind of ruined it with the ending of the show. I've never really watched much of the show. It never really appealed to me all that much. I've heard that I should give 1923 a try. That it's been really enjoyable. I've not seen anything of 1883, which is the one that has Harrison Ford. Is that the 1883?
1923
It's
is Harrison
1923.
Ford.
Okay, is Harrison Ford? Okay, yeah. I've heard I should give the 1923 a try. That people really enjoy that
I
one.
watched the first season, it was pretty good, and then I think I started watching the second season, and then I stopped. Don't really know why.
Hmm. Just ran out of interest for you. had other things to watch that were more worthwhile.
Probably,
That
yeah.
happens.
Anyhow, did you have anything else? I feel like
Uh,
maybe was it just such a quiet day today?
yeah, there's other than the tariffs and everybody just panicking about that stuff. Really, not a lot of other things going on. We did talk a little bit about the Switch 2 and stuff last week. There hasn't been a lot of new news about that. Keep seeing that people are still angry about the price. Nintendo has delayed the pre-order. Did you hear about that? That Nintendo has delayed the
Right, because
pre-orders.
of the tariffs,
They're
the
saying, "Oh,
Switch 2.
we
The
don't know
Switch
if
2,
we're going
right?
to be able to. We don't know if what price we'll be able to sell it at, or if we can do pre-orders given the price uncertainties and stuff."
But
So
some people already pre-ordered it, didn't they?
supposedly they were only going to open up April 9th. So yeah, I don't know. There might have been some other businesses that decided to break that and do it early. But the bigger retailers were all set for April 9th, and now there's a change in that window. Honestly, I don't even know that I care. I still feel like it's a little overpriced, especially if they're going to start pushing the game prices up to $80. And I just don't know that there's going to be a lot to play on it right away that I can't already play somewhere else. So I'm not sure that I'm desperate to run out and get a Switch 2. I'm sure some people are. I know there's going to be games that people are just dying to get a hold of. Wanted to go out and pay to play Switch games they already own, pay for them again so that they can play them on the Switch too. But yeah, uh, I'm sure we'll hear something in the coming week, perhaps from Nintendo on the change there to the pre-orders. But right now, yeah, that's kind of a weird move. Say we're not going to let you pre-order our console because we're so worried about your tariffs. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. I don't.
Well, I guess maybe we can go back and say goodbye to some people that were
Yeah,
hanging out with
sure.
us today.
Yeah. So
Do you have them accessible with all our
yeah,
restart?
I think I've got a pretty good list here. If you can kind of look through and see if there's anybody that you spot that I don't have, but see, we had of course Adam Gray and Eraserhead, our mods. over on YouTube. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
your help
guys.
and keeping the rowdy people in check over there on YouTube today, guys. Let's see. I have some others here across both YouTube and Rumble. We had Abracious Productions, Antonius Blockbad Motivator, Anthony Parkinson, Asher Outlaw, Big Umbi 70. We got CC Karaoke stopped by for a little bit. It was good to see CC here. Cosgrove, Contramortem, Dave C. Good to see Dave C here. Get to hang out with Dave C. And Mark D with a C over on their Sunday Night Geekery every now and then. So got to hang out with them on Sunday night. Dexter's Allure Lab, Double R Star, Dude Bro Seth 420, a regular over on Rumble. It's good to see you again, Dude Bro. Drew Gordon, Eric Red, Elizabeth Quince, Emperor Goodwin stopped by for a bit. Eugene Waynard, Flying Disc, Grave Walkers, Gray Clouds, Forever, I guess. Okay. Hangnail, Hope Sam, friend of the channel and sometimes guest, Ista Phobos was here this evening. Good to see you, Ista. James Caserta, Jamalama, Jonathan Conroy, Joshua Calkins, Kivo 1961, another regular we can plan on seeing over on Rumble. It's good to see you, Kivo, and thanks for being a regular. Crimson King, Leonard, Marla Sharondoff. Hey there, Marla. Marks 47, Moon Rising 37, Marokstro, Panda Colima, Fat Jimmy 1776, Federa 12, Phantom Monk, Player 1, Pyromancer, Argentum. Hey there, Argentum. Rabnot Scubla, Rob Altus, Ron Donafero, Regular Joe 70, Sailor Dude 2022, Salty Droid, Scott 7688, Senna 75, Sean Linane, Sean Green, Smazzle, Smilex. Hey there, Smilex. Sturgeon 510, Tater Squad, The Big Ship, The Biggest Ship. Good to see you, Big Ship, and thanks for being a big supporter of the channel. The Dead Man, also a big supporter of the channel. Good to see you, Dead Man. The lovely Sherry, Tim Hayes, Vex Electronica, who popped in for a minute, and we helped lull her off to sleep, I'm sure. White Bear, it was good to see you, White Bear. Watcher X, Zizzle, Yitis, and Yugen. You see any others that I missed, Price?
No, I think you pretty much covered all of them, which is
Yeah.
great because I was kind of all over the place. So
Yeah, we got to let's see. Maybe a couple others here at the last minute. I see Kekery is over on Rumble. Good to see you. Any other just the last minutes that maybe been lurking and popped in to say hi? No, I think we got pretty much everybody. If we missed anyone, hey, sorry. We'll get you next time. Thanks for being here. Glad to have you here and watching the show this evening.
well, yeah, and thank you, Professor, for being here as always.
Yeah,
Certainly,
no problem.
we did have a lot of stuff to talk about, but somehow
We just kind of rushed through it all. I think.
we
I
kind
mean,
of
we
rushed through it all.
just
That
didn't
is
have a lot to say about some of these things tonight.
sometimes that happens. Listen, I mean,
Yeah, it
there
happens.
was
It
certainly news. I think we brought up some interesting items, but some of these things weren't meant to just solve something for you in 1 second.
Yep.
Anyhow,
Oh, and I can't stop yawning, so maybe it is time to pack it in tonight.
maybe it is. I was thinking the same exact thing. I guess I want to thank everybody that hung out with us. You guys are great. Our audience here on Rumble is fantastic. Rumble is the home headquarters for this entire show. And if you're on Rumble and you haven't subscribed, you definitely should. You should follow this channel. Hopefully, you'll do that sooner rather than later. And yeah, what else? What were you going to say?
No, that's it. Just so thankful for everybody who stopped in. Let's see. We'll shout back out a few people who we got some support from tonight. Sean Lenane with a couple of $5 Rumble rants over on Rumble. Very nice, and we do appreciate that. Thank you. I think we got a few new follows over there on a few new subscribers over there on Rumble too. So that's always nice. And then we did get some nice support over on YouTube this evening. So the Dead Man left us a couple of super chats. It's Phobos, Dexter's Lure Lab with a $10 super sticker, Joshua Calkins, and then the Dead Man also left us the traditional poop sticker. So thank you again for all the support this evening, everybody.
Absolutely. And I guess on that very positive note, we can say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you all here on Thursday on the Night Owl at 11:45 p.m. I'm Price of Reason, and this is my co-host, Professor R2, and we're wishing you all a great night for you and for your families. Bye.
Bye-bye.